we go.
There we go, right there.
Well, that must have been a remix.
Don't talk, they listening to us right now.
Extended version.
He played that shit for a minute.
Oh my goodness.
All right, here we go. They popping up on YouTube. They all came to see Jay.
We got a live audience.
Oh, we ain't done this shit in a minute. Hey, everybody, thank you again. You have tuned in to another edition of the Don Miller Show podcast, Drinking and Judging. This time we're doing it differently. We are live in beautiful downtown, historic Sanford, Florida. My good friend, Real Rap Kane, as he has been for a minute on that side. And we went and got D'Amica Page, the Queen of Mississippi, is with us today.
That's new.
That's brand
Queen
damn
of
new.
Mississippi.
Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. This is an election night special, and it was important to us. Jay and you and I talked about this the other day. We turned down some other people who wanted us to come to their establishments to broadcast our show. And we decided absolutely it was important to us to go to black folk and talk to black folk because
Correct.
I got to be straight with you guys. It's important that the people who are missing the message the most hear the message. It looks like just breaking news. I just got a message that Marco Rubio has won. The incumbent Marco Rubio is winning the Senate seat or has won the Senate seat for Florida. This is a very important election. But what's more important is that people of color understand how, look, I've been watching these ads and I think they have been significantly a crock of shit, right? I've been watching these ads, vote for your life. Listen to me, my life is about the economy and not about abortion. So when you put abortion at the forefront of this electoral conversation, then I didn't trust you in the beginning, Jay. This is about the economy. Why isn't people saying the economy is first? Everybody's talking about abortion. Listen, we're going to watch the numbers coming in. Herschel Walker is getting his ass whooped, but he probably don't know that because he don't know a whole bunch of shit. But it's important right now. But we got to be careful. We got to watch these races. Georgia is a giant state. It's a big state now. You got to understand. It's a big state, Jay. And Herschel Walker, who has been really kind of like just doing what he was told to do.
There's only 20% reporting.
But it's
there.
20% reporting,
In
but he's
Georgia.
losing. Let me
He's
tell you
losing
something.
because of CTR.
Right. No, it's not CTR.
That's what he said, CTR.
So you got
That's why he
CTE, that left tackle. Okay. Thank you so much again for joining us. Feel free to give us a like, a subscribe. We need you to support what we're doing. The Don Miller Show, Drinking and Judging, Tuesday nights, live on YouTube and streaming on Facebook. Myself, Real Rap Kane, and a pop-in from D'Amica Page, who has been with me in radio for at least 1,500, maybe 1,000 shows.
Yeah.
We have been on every network that let different kind of Negroes
That's a
come on the
strong woman,
network.
dog. That's a strong woman right there.
But think
She
about this. That
tolerated
was
you for 1,000
D'Amica
shows.
was with me when we got. How many times we get fired?
Know that.
How many times we got fired? D'Amica like they ain't fired because of me. They fired me because of you. D'Amica left before the white people came in the room. Like y'all got to go. No, never was white people. I don't think we ever got fired by white people.
No, we didn't.
We got fired by.
You only got fired.
We got
when you were
fired
on the
by.
black station,
We got fired
and
by.
I was not with
we got
you.
fired by Archbishop Wiggins. He's the pastor of the
wasn't
Hope
with
Church.
you.
He told me to get out of there. We got fired by Bishop Johnson, who was a coon, who was now in prison for some nonsense. We got fired by Reverend. I ain't gonna do all that. But the fact of the matter is, I call names on the Don Miller Show. Hey, Jay.
What's up, man? I don't know what just
All that.
happened. I don't know what just happened.
All that.
Hey,
I'm
man, I
lost.
want to
I'm
shout
lost.
everybody out for being here. We are live. If you in the neighborhood, you come down to Chantel's 503 Sanford, Florida. Beautiful Sanford, Florida, 503 Sanford Avenue. She's got some food. And listen, come by. We still got enough room.
Black and white
fried
faces
green
that drove
tomatoes.
You got black and white faces. There's two white people in this bitch.
It's black and white faces that drove out.
And let me tell you
Stop
something.
trying to divide us.
I'm all about division. You ain't never heard this show? Again, thank you so much, everybody. Let's talk about, again, as many of the pundits have been talking in the last few weeks, about what's important in this election cycle. Of course, a Wall Street Journal just did an amazing article today. I want you to go pull it up if you can. Go read it. We're going to post it on our platforms. That 17 to 20% of black folk have voted Republican in this cycle. And I just want to say there have always been people conservative that Donald Trump nobody wanted to vote for Donald Trump. Yeah. So now they're coming back that Trump is not on the ticket. But I just think it's important that we all look at this conversation and vote for what's important to us. We cannot continue to let our enemy pick our enemy, Jay.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
You know, your boy Post got a big announcement next week.
Who?
Donald Trump
Yeah.
on the 15th.
It's not my boy. Why is he my
I thought it
boy?
was your cousin. My
You
bad.
know that ain't my
I thought it
boy,
was
man.
your
Let me
Have
tell
some
you something.
similarities.
I digress.
What's the similarity? What's the Donald Trump, Don Miller similarity? Because the show ain't money. What is it?
Because you treat everybody pretty much bad. You're not biased in that nature.
But Tamika's saying you're an
Like
asshole.
yeah,
I'm going to say
it
what
was
you-
right there.
I'm
It
telling
was
what she's
right
not
there.
going to say.
Assholism is a disease. I told y'all that.
So yeah, so you and Donald Trump
Unbiased.
got that
A-hole.
Assholism is
Yes.
chronic. It's a disease.
Y'all got a common
I
denominator.
done told you I love you 38 times. You have never said I love you back.
And you're pretty unfiltered. You'll say anything.
I don't see the relevance. I don't see the correlation.
Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. I want to talk, though. We want to open the microphone up, too. There's a microphone right there. We have guests in the studio. We have a studio live audience. If you don't mind, Phil. Hey, Phil, what's up, baby boy?
Hello, everybody.
Phil, can you just kind of pan the audience for our YouTube viewers? We are live in beautiful downtown Sanford. The history of Sanford is an
can pan.
amazing history for black people, not just what you heard in the last 15 years. Sanford is a thriving black community with some really
This
wonderful
is our second
people.
live broadcast.
The
from-
last broadcast was
Trayvon Martin.
that we did a live
we
broadcast
did a big broadcast
for Hill Sanford for the BBC.
absolutely.
British Broadcasting took
Yeah.
me and D'Amica, and I want to tell that story because I think that's
We
one
were
of
the first.
that's a pivotal moment in our conversation
Yep.
about what is right and what is wrong. D'Amica and I was on the BBC several times during the Trayvon Martin story, and we came to Sanford, did a live broadcast around the corner at the Willow Tree Cafe.
Yep.
And we're at this restaurant. We do this live broadcast. D'Amica says after we leave, let's go to that restaurant where they have, what do they have that you like?
Helleback, was it?
No. We were at Hollerbox.
Right.
But we went to the cafe the restaurant up the street. There's something there you like, the Bloody Marys or something, right? And we go there, and me and D'Amica walk in, and as we're walking out of the restaurant, a white guy says, "That's a big old black bitch."
Gosh almighty.
Remember that?
I thought that was at the pizza place.
That was.
Where they tried
That's
to
where
attack us.
Yes, they attacked us. Like, you Negroes, they ain't call them
It was a
Negroes, but you
mob.
Negroes ain't got nobody, y'all ain't got no business in
Yeah,
here.
you didn't know that, did
And
you?
they put
We
us
got-
out, and they treated us terribly. The manager comes out, he's got a white T-shirt
There's
on
a
that's
mob
dirty,
of
and all the white
people
people are like,
around
leave,
us.
this is not your place. I can't remember the name. It'll
That
come to
remind
me in
of
a
Life.
minute.
That remind me of the movie Life.
Absolutely. And
Okay.
so we left, right? Lo
pretty
and behold, they didn't know the Negroes
Had a radio program.
had a radio program. How long did they stay open?
Oh my goodness! Not long
no,
after
2
that.
weeks. Okay.
Yeah.
But again, we have been in Sanford. We are committed to rebuilding the conversation. We got some great people I want to shout out. You know, I love my friends. I'll shout my friends out. My brother Creer's here. Man, love you, bro. Thank you for coming, man. Hey, that dude over there, Todd, man, Precious, Ash, hey, Ash. Quetta Jean Johnson from the Johnson family of absolutely ridiculous behavior is in this house. Man, I ain't gonna say Ed name. Ed just came and pulled up a
You ain't gonna say his
triple.
name, but
No,
you
I
said
haven't
his
said triple, right? And we got, hey man, is the white boy back there? Yeah, Scotty.
Yes,
Hey,
Scotty
Scotty
in the
back
building.
there, man.
Yes,
Thank you so
Scotty
much.
in the
Look,
building.
so thank you so much, everybody.
Michael Rappaport.
That's who he is. He don't want to say it, but that's who he is. But I want to have a conversation tonight about how we turn the conversation, and because the conversation about what's important to black people in this country has been taken away from us. It has been. We have allowed our enemy to consistently pick our enemy. And we've talked about this on the show, Jay. I've talked about it for 25 years, 22 years in radio. At what point do we say enough's enough? And at what point are we involved in the picking of the people who go speak on our behalf? Go ahead, D'Amica.
You don't think that we are?
Huh?
You don't think that we
Oh,
are
come on.
already?
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna ask Jay.
We're involved. Not very. I don't know how we would describe it, but
We not involved.
We don't even have we don't have
not
nothing to do with who speaks on our
We
behalf.
not involved.
Not at all.
you don't think so?
Nah,
no,
negative.
not at all.
Just because you picked the wrong person doesn't mean you're not picking. You're picking. You're involved, but you're involved in the wrong way.
It's a catch-22. I agree.
But,
I
you,
get what you're
but
saying.
you can't say they're
I
not
get what you're saying.
involved. They
I get
are
what you're
picking.
saying.
They are involved, but
But
we're
it's a-
not. But we're not very smart when it comes to. We're not very politically savvy. We don't really.
Yeah.
We don't consider the policies. We're in it for the wrong reasons, and that's why we get the type of leadership
So
that we have.
let's use this word, IP. What was it? IP?
Political
Intelligence. PI.
PI.
Okay, so we lack political intelligence,
Right.
right?
No,
So-
we lack PA, political accountability.
that too.
Political,
Okay.
different.
Right.
Political accountability, political awareness,
Yeah.
and political intellect.
Yeah,
I think they all fall in line.
Like political, the other one you said, no. The problem is that, like I said before, when I said at the beginning of this, when we started doing this, is that we're not holding those people that we elect accountable for them saying what they're going to do for us, right?
But-
and then we re-electing them. This is facts. We
But-
re-electing them to the same office, same position, time and time again.
But I have to go back to political intellect because we're not voting based on policy. That's where the intellect come in. When you vote, when you can vote on the right policies that are going to empower your community, then you have the people in place. Then you hold them accountable. But if you don't have any intellect about what you're voting for,
This is what
Then
we're going
what's
to
the
disagree.
account-
This is what we're going to disagree.
You
at.
gotta
This-
start at A.
But this is the reason why we're
But
going
you
to
have to
disagree.
start at A before you get to C.
I got you. This is the reason why we're going to disagree, right? Everybody that go on the campaign trail, they make all these promises. They say they're going to do A, B, C, and D, the same policies, the same programs. They're going to reach the communities that mean the
No.
most. They're going. Oh, time out.
Okay.
They're going to fund the programs that mean the most to us, right? And then when they don't do that, we re-elect them. Right, so it's not a thing of political intelligence because everybody comes with the same standpoint. They're going to hit the same key points. Everybody's going to go to the same key points.
So let me explain.
over and over.
Let me explain to you what I'm saying to you.
Okay.
That's different than what you would just
Okay.
reiterate.
Okay.
I said policies that empower the community. So if your promises are based on policies that have no proven record, there's no track record. See, you just said that they give us the same policies or the same promises over and over again. Therefore, there cannot be any track record that empowers the community.
Okay, so
the key is that
yeah.
it has to empower the community.
Okay, so this is where we're going to disconnect that. You talking about zip code 32746. I'm talking about zip code 19121. Right? This is where we separate. Right? So when they come to our communities and 19121 and say, we're going to fund community centers. We're going to fund programs for single mothers to put them at work, train them, today's skill sets that they need to go to work. They don't come through in those promises. So what you're saying is correct, but the problem is the disconnect is the zip codes I come from, this is the rhetoric they go there with, right? I'm not talking about what you see here. I don't care about here. I told people from day one, I don't care about 32746. I care about 19121. Because that's where I grew up in. And they come in there and they go through the church. I'm gonna piss some people off. I don't care. They go through the black church. They bleed them. They get the pastor on their side. They get great grandmom to go in there and say, yeah, vote for so and so because so and so going to fund the program that's going to get this single woman
And
with
they
5
never
kids
do it.
back to work.
And they never do
it.
See, you keep saying we disconnect, but I said track record.
No, but but the
They're-
problem
they-
is we re-elect them. That's
but-
the accountability piece I'm talking about.
And I agree with that. I didn't say I disagree. I just said we have to have A before we get to C.
You know what's interesting what both of you are saying? Let's do the history of the Negro engagement in the voting process, right? The Negro engagement in the voting process in America has always, Creer, been a curveball, right? And the problem is the black church has let the Negro down for 70 years, right? Dr. King was the last bastion of hope for the Negro in America as it relates to the curveball conversation by our enemy. Let's be clear, right?
No, that's a fact.
Okay? The fact of the matter is, when you allow someone to come in your church who just spoke across town at an LGBT conference, and he leaves that, D'Amica, we were there, and he
Yes.
comes over across town after he told them gay marriage is the way I support it 100%. And he comes 20 minutes across town to your church and he says, down with gay marriage, right? But you didn't have nobody at the white church that could text you or call you and say, he bullshitting you, right? The fact of the matter is, until we get involved across the board, until we get involved in every aspect of the conversation, we're going to be curveball. My position on the whole thing is, look, think about this. If you black in Florida, let's take Florida, for example, and you took your ignorant ass to the polls and you voted for Charlie Crist, who everything he said he did that was positive, he did as a Republican governor. Yes or no? Anybody remember that?
I wasn't here.
But anybody remember that? Todd, am I right?
No, I read about
everything Charlie Crist did that he spoke on in that debate, he did as a Republican governor before he flipped to an independent and then ended up as a Democrat. So just as people say Donald Trump said on Oprah Winfrey almost 27 years ago and said, if I run for president, I'm going to run as a Republican because they goofball idiots, right? Charlie Crist is playing the same game. Why can't we tell Charlie Crist to kiss our ass?
They all play the same game.
Yes.
That's the issue.
That's
Like,
the
you can't
issue.
isolate
But
Charlie
guess
Crist.
what? I'm just saying. So the only way we change the game is understand what's being presented to us, right? Charlie Crist went on a debate and he blamed. He said everything, all these wonderful things he did. And I wanted to say, yes, sir, Mr. Charlie. Mr. Charlie's just a man, said Betty White. Betty Wright. Mr. Charlie's just a man, right? Betty Wright said that. I did not, right? But Charlie Crist claimed all these things he did for the state of Florida. And nobody said, yo, sir, Mr. Sir, you did that as a Republican governor. So the problem is we cannot let our history be a mystery. Listen to me. Anybody want to come to the microphone? We encourage you to join us. We are live. Look, go subscribe and like. Jay Kane, follow Jay Kane, Real Rap Kane, D'Amica Page. She don't even check her Facebook, so don't even worry about following D'Amica Page. She out there working
Really?
A
out.
lot going
D'Amica
on.
Page
Got a lot
over there,
going
with,
on.
she
Just
doing
do that?
calisthenics with an 88-year-old lady, okay?
Wow.
I saw that video. She 88.
Wow.
That lady don't need to do no jumping jacks. So I'm telling you right
Wow,
now,
no.
Jesus is on her portion.
Wow. I don't know where we going with
But
this.
Jesus is my portion. Precious, come on, sing this solo. My constant friend is he. His eye is on the
This guy
sparrow.
weird. This guy weird.
And what? I know. Sing this together, y'all. He what? Watches me. Come on, you doing calisthenics with
You're the
88-year-old
only person that know this song, dog. I don't want to. This is a solo for real.
This is an A
I know
selection.
the song. I know the song.
So thank you
Oh,
so
know the
much
song.
again
I
for
know.
joining
You're
us.
trying to help Don out. I see what's going on.
This is the Don Miller Show, Drinking and Judging, Real Rap Kane, D'Amica Page. Today is a great day for me because we haven't done a live studio audience since maybe a year.
Yeah, it's probably been about a year.
And just as Jay's first, I just want people to understand what we do here, right? You're not going to get what you get on the mainstream conversation. That ain't who we are. It's highly likely we're
Gonna
going to
get
be
pissed off.
Yeah.
highly
Somebody going to get rubbed the wrong way.
I don't know about that part.
It's
highly likely someone gonna get upset.
It's highly likely I'm going to be buzzed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty likely.
Yeah.
It's drinking and judging, okay? But I just want to have a real conversation. So we're watching these numbers come in, right? Stacey Abrams, after 38% of the votes in Georgia, Stacey Abrams is beating Brian Kemp. And I want to say something
a
about
long way to
Stacey
go.
Abrams, right? Stacey Abrams, listen, I just wish she would bring her girlfriend on the screen with her one day, because Stacey Abrams has been so disrespectful. Did you get what I sent you, Phil? Stacey Abrams, check your email. Stacey Abrams has been so disrespectful to black men down the stretch, right? She said if she loses, it's because of black men. Well, Stacey, black men voted for you heavily the last time you ran, right? It is amazing that every black person, and I'm going to say this right now, YouTube, The Don Miller Show, Facebook, streaming live, they might kick me off one of them in a minute. Why does every black person that is running for this level of office has to be in some kind of relationship with somebody who don't look like us? Go look. Am I making that up?
Nah.
Am I making that up? Why is that important? Why we've only had 3 Supreme Court justices, not one has been married to a Negro woman or a Negro man. And y'all say, Don, why are you being petty? That ain't important. Yeah, I guess you might think it ain't important. Brother Creer, who's in diversity at a very high level, that's important to me. That's important to me, Monica. That's important to me, Ashley, that the fact of the matter is we are continuing to let people tell us who we should engage with, and these people, for the most part, don't engage with us. Go ahead, Jay.
I don't even know where you was going with this.
What did that have to do with her disrespecting black men? What did that have to do with her disrespecting black men?
Because
So,
you know how
so you
easy it
brought-
is for a woman who ain't been held by a black man to disrespect a black man, who
Okay,
ain't been
so that's where
nurtured
you
by a
going.
black man to disrespect a black man, who ain't been loved by a black man to disrespect a black man. I'll wait.
Okay,
Go
Don.
look.
This is the
You
Don
think-
Miller segment because we lost.
Now, let me tell you what I'm
so
saying.
you-
Tracking what you're saying.
No, you're not.
So-
I am
What
sorry.
I am saying
For those-
is,
for those
what
who
I'm
don't-
saying is,
for those who
go
don't
look
know-
at the most powerful African. Todd, you feel me, right?
Let's-
Go look at the most powerful black people in the history of this country,
And look who they had to lay with.
and look who they go
who
home
they
to.
had to. I
But
get
the
that.
reason why you brought up Stacey Abrams and black men was because she made the statement that if
No,
she,
the reason why
No,
I
she
brought Stacey Abrams up, what did she say?
she said that if she would say, now I don't know if she said if she didn't win, if she doesn't win, but she had a problem with the fact that black men seem to be uninformed. And that would be the reason why the results would be the way.
So she's looking for a reason why she's going to get her ass
Because
handed
of
to her.
uninformed
So
black
it sounds like
men.
Trump. It sounds like what Trump said: if I lose, they cheated. It
Pretty
sounds
much.
like
It's the
that.
same
If she
thing.
loses,
Okay,
it's
I'm
because of
tracking.
uninformed black men.
Oh, it gotta be the black men specifically.
Yeah, she said
Oh, okay, I'm tracking.
she specifically said uninformed black men.
Oh, okay. Wow.
I'll let you take that.
Hold on, I got it.
See, the point is, this is what I'm saying. We need to pay attention.
She
Look,
said that?
Yes, she
Yes.
said it. It's on. Yeah, it's a bunch of videos out. She said it. You
I saw
found it
an
yet?
article.
You get
I
a
didn't
feel?
see the video.
This is important, right? Because I'm offended by it. I don't know who else is offended by it. I've been in politics a long time. I've raised a lot of money for a bunch of different people, for a bunch of different parties, right? And when you go to a microphone in a crisis election period like this, and you say something so demeaning, even though you know you need these people, right? Your attitude and your vitriol for them is so strong in your gut that you say some dumb shit like this, then listen to me. If Stacey Abrams wins in Georgia, that's on them, right?
I'm trying to process that still.
Go ahead.
So it's like Joe Biden when he said, "If you don't vote for me, you're not black."
Absolutely, same thing.
Oh, okay.
Listen, my position is this, right?
Wow, that's
when
cool.
do we stop it? When do we stop it? Look at these numbers coming in, right? Listen, it's going to be pretty much a significant change in the political structure in America this cycle, but it happens all the time. This is nothing new. Jay, you know what happens in the midterm election.
Already. It's only 28% in. That's
Right.
crazy.
The point is, right, because it's 28%, but they know where it's coming
know
from.
where it's coming from. I
Okay,
know how it
and they
goes.
still haven't collected the ballots in many of these areas, right? When you go to the polls in many of these areas, I don't know, Todd, if you went to the polls in your area, you didn't see nobody look like me and you, right? Yes or no? And they vote on election day, right? So everybody I don't trust nobody with my ballot. Somebody told me, why don't you mail your ballot in? She.
Where Dr. Oz at?
Shit,
I'm trying to find Dr. Oz.
Dr. Oz is an idiot, right? Yes, he is. Yes, he
I'm
is.
trying to find Dr.
Dr. Oz
Oz
is a clown, but they got Dr. Oz running against a guy who had a stroke who can't say his whole name. Let's be clear.
That's a
right?
fact.
It's a shit show.
That's a fact.
Dr. Oz is running against Fetterman. Can he say his name?
Nah, he can't say
He can't
Fetterman.
say his
He gonna
name.
have a seizure saying Fetterman.
I can't say
Go and
Fetterman. Okay. So, and guess what? And guess who put Dr. Oz on?
Your girl Oprah, right?
Oprah Winfrey. She
Of
produced
course.
the Dr.
Yeah.
Oz show. She made millions on Dr. Oz.
Yeah.
Only to tell Dr. Oz last Wednesday, I ain't with you, dog. The
Same
problem
thing with
is,
your boy, Dr. Phil. She put him on,
right,
too.
put him on, right?
Yeah.
The problem is, listen, guys, we need to take this opportunity, this midterm election cycle, and say what's important to us, right? And I want to see by a show of hands. I'm going to hit you with this.
Are you saying us like as in the
As
black
in
community?
No, the regular man in America.
Oh, the men. We're talking about black men? Or
We
just
talk about
all
the
men?
regular man in
You are
America.
very divisive,
I'm a
Don.
divisive as fuck. Okay? I've been divisive since I got here, right? I was divisive when I was 7. Miss Johnson class, she told my mom, you get him out of here. But let me just say this, right? Being divisive ain't a bad thing. Because some of my most divisive people have taught me some of the greatest lessons, baby boy. You young, Jay. Was Malcolm divisive?
I mean, you met him. I don't know.
Okay.
Ah, that's a good one.
This is why we do this show, man. Thank you so much,
Oh,
man.
my goodness.
But this is very important, right? We're going to turn the corner in a few minutes and have another conversation.
I'm waiting for us to turn the corner.
Why is it what the common man care about important anymore, right? And I can tell you by a show of hands, how many people in this audience How many
That
people in
food
this?
out there sure look good.
You ain't eating that, right? Okay, see, there we go. That's why we
Fried chicken?
we
Is
should have
that
did the
fish
show in the
strips?
park. By a show of hands, how many people would put abortion at the number one issue for them right now? By a show of
Number one
hands.
concern.
Number one concern.
Show of hands, show of hands, show of hands.
There are
Show of
no hands.
No hands.
No
Okay.
hands.
How
No
many
hands.
people would put gay marriage, okay, same-sex discrimination at the front of the conversation? By a show of hands.
There's one.
There are no hands. And there's some
There was
Caucasians
one-
in
there
this
was one
thing.
hand.
Who was that?
That was one hand by the Caucasian.
Who?
Who, Scott?
Scott, he
Yeah,
homosexual.
he don't count.
Yeah, he gay as hell. He don't want to come out though.
Gosh, almighty.
But by a show of hands, how many people would say the economy is a problem and a concern for them as we speak? Show of hands. This is why they should have been talking about the economy. So why
would
were
they
we
talk
talking about
something important?
anything
Why would
else?
they talk about something important, though?
Go ahead.
Why would they talk about something important?
So,
Why, they want to talk about Kyrie.
so
Instead
can I
of talking
ask?
about Jeff
But can I
Bezos.
ask you a question? Because I
Yes.
don't think the question was posed correctly.
That's why you're here.
I don't think it's that the common man. The common man concern is not being portrayed in the media. Because the
It
common
never
man
is, though.
exactly. So
Okay.
what the narrative that we're seeing in mainstream media is not a reflection of what people really feel like is a major concern to them. The mainstream media is going to stay with the narrative that they know will push their agenda.
'Cause who cut the check?
Their agenda.
Because who cut the check?
Exactly.
Okay.
You
As long
know?
as we tracking, we're on the
so,
same page.
So I don't think that it's necessarily that these aren't our concerns.
Yeah, yeah.
Our concerns just aren't being
They never are. though.
communicated
They never are.
to the mass media.
That's the issue.
That
That's why
is
I
the
walked
issue.
away last night.
Oh, no. Oh, God. I didn't want to revisit that.
That's why I walked away last night before I blew a gasket.
Listen, we're living in a time right now. Hey, my niece is in the back. Is that Liv back there? Hey, Liv. Hey, I see you brought your gay friend. I'm sorry, nephew. I got to give you that one.
Gosh, oh my, that escalated.
Thank you so much, everybody. But again, we are allowing people with microphones to speak on our behalf. And that's a problem in this country because the people with the microphones don't always understand our plight. And they're going to speak
It's
to...
not. I don't think it's that they don't understand. They don't
They
care.
don't care. Thank you. That's what ditto.
They don't care.
Thank you for that. 'Cause that's what I was about to say. No, that's a fact. It's not about they don't understand. They don't care.
Right.
Right. And they're going to shift the conversation
To
make it
their
about
agenda.
something else.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? To tick it off the fact, because guess what you ain't got to do, right? One thing I learned in life is this. If you don't acknowledge nothing, right, and you say you're going to fix something, you can't fix something without acknowledging it, right? You're going to repeat the same behavior because you never acknowledged it as being something wrong, right? So what is there to really fix? So they're not going to come out and acknowledge and say, oh, damn, we did A, B, C, and D wrong, right? They're going to say some glossy terms that everybody's going to get excited about, i.e., we're going to pay for y'all student loans. We're going to give y'all 20 grand, right? They're going to throw a curveball that's not going to make sense to distract y'all. But meanwhile, they never acknowledge the root problem, the root issue. That's the problem. So when I say we're not holding them accountable, because everybody got the same rhetoric that's going to come and say, we're going to fix this, and that. Everybody says the same thing. Just look at it.
But you know what I haven't heard, and I want both of you all to speak to this. Please come to the microphone if you may. I really want to hear from my friend, Brother Creer, who is a brilliant brother who has a podcast himself. Let me tell you why I want to hear from this brother, right?
Why? Why is that?
Because they're talking about everything except the multi-billions that they've sent to Ukraine.
Craig can't talk about that.
No, he can't right now. I forgot. He got a new
Craig
job.
can't talk about it. He got a new job.
Okay,
He
I
got to
forgot.
tread carefully.
I'm sorry.
He gonna end up like Kyrie.
Anybody ain't working want to talk about that?
He gonna end up like
They got to
Kyrie,
be
boy. He can't
unemployed to
talk
have that
about
conversation, right? I forgot.
You
Sorry,
trying to
brother.
Kyrie Kira.
His real name is Steve. I got to call him Steve. I'm going to mess this whole shit up.
Boy, you say
Okay.
at the beginning that you say he was your friend. That is
Yeah, I
not your
apologize,
friend.
man.
You trying to Kyrie
Damn,
him.
man. Hey, Scott, you can say something about it.
No,
Scott,
Scott can say
Caucasian.
it. He got a different kind of leeway. He
Yeah,
can say
yeah.
that.
But the point I make is this. The money that has been sent to the Ukraine, we all should be really upset about it. But
Man, we all should be rich.
right. We
should
all
be
should
way
be.
up.
We all should be rich.
But Jay, you know, Don and I were talking about an article that I sent him, and it was talking
You
about
racist. You ain't send me the article.
Oh, stop it. But the money going to Ukraine started long before the war.
That's a fact.
And that's when.
That's a fact.
And so if you talk about the money that's going to Ukraine, then you really got to go
That's the
back.
public
You
money.
got to go back a little bit
Correct.
further than
Correct.
when the war started.
Correct.
And nobody wants to have that
Correct.
conversation.
Because you know why? You know what's going to highlight? It's going to highlight people that don't want to be highlighted.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. So we're not
Yeah.
going to hear anything
No,
about
negative.
money going to Ukraine.
But again,
you got to go read.
You got to go read.
right. When we are looking at Jackson, Mississippi with a water
I should have worn my
crisis,
shirt. I
right?
didn't wear that shirt.
When we're looking at Jackson, Mississippi with a water crisis, and the conversation nobody's talking about, not one politician, black or white in this country, is environmental racism, right? Environmental racism is real. When
How
you
about
look at
resource racism? I think
absolutely,
that's a better term.
it falls right in
because,
line,
because
right?
It, because it
Broader.
encompasses so much more.
Right. But because you look at Flint, Michigan, how in 2022 is there a city with that many people that don't have good drinking water? How?
Man,
How?
you can't even wash your behind in that water. That's crazy.
But again, nobody, and think about it, for the first time in 71 years, the state of Michigan does not have a black representative in D.C. First time in 71 years. That's a problem in itself. But redistricting is not your friend. I just want people to understand this is very important. This ain't a show about black people. We get ready to turn the corner. We're going to talk about the Jews in a minute. I'm just telling y'all right now, this Don
my
Miller show, the
goodness.
Hour Power. But this is very important, right?
I think I pissed them off in the last 3 weeks.
Jay, I just want to tell everybody here, Jay had a brilliant conversation on his Real Rap Kane. He got 46,000 views. Brother Chris, I don't know if you know this. Jay got 46,000 hits the other day.
Jay?
Yeah. He's probably gonna offend some people, but I.
Oh, yeah, some people got. Yeah, I'm surprised. I'm surprised I ain't got the black SUV sitting outside the house right now.
But I want to talk about this. I want to go shift quickly before we this next segment of the show. We've seen a lot of people being called anti-Semites, right?
And what does that mean?
Anti-Semitic.
What
Can
is the
somebody
actual
explain that?
definition of anti-Semite, right? My nephew, hey, big guy, I see you back there, my white nephew. There he is, okay? I need you to come up to the microphone right now. Come on, man. Come on. We have deep conversations. You don't be acting like you knew I was going to do this, right? This is one of my favorite people. He's a brilliant young man, Jay. We love this kid.
Mm-hmm.
He's our friend, right? And we talked the other day. Big guy, how you doing? Introduce yourself. Grab the mic. Grab the mic off the stand. Go ahead.
You got
I'm
60
good.
seconds.
I'm Matt.
That's
Nice to meet
Matt.
y'all.
That's Maddie. Maddie, the other day we were talking about anti-Semitism. How does that look when you see people being attacked for being anti-Semitic?
Well, it's been all around a lot. The whole Kyrie Irving thing, Kanye West stuff going on. I feel like that's a tough one, Don. It's a tough one for me to answer. Like, you see it in, maybe Holocaust denial and stuff like that, but
What's the definition to you? You
Yeah,
beating
I wanna
around.
hear your
you jumping
definition.
Around. What's
I
the
agree.
definition to you? When you hear that word, what jumps out?
someone who discriminates against somebody who is Jewish, period, yeah, ethnically, whatever, yeah.
That's all it is.
Yeah, it's
Someone
you
who
know,
discriminate against someone who is Jewish.
for just that base,
So how
that,
did
that base
Kyrie?
reason.
How did Kyrie? What did he
So,
do that was discriminatory
I'm
towards
not-
Jews?
I am not super up to date on that whole thing.
But you used it
specifically.
as an example, though.
I'm just
curious. I'm not.
No, it's just something that I've heard going around in the news.
Okay.
I haven't
That's fair.
dug into that whole situation.
So you don't
specifically.
know that he did. You're
No,
just
no.
regurgitating what you've heard.
I guess you could say yes, but just all that has been talking around. It's a big topic right now.
Cause
so.
somebody out there, it's about 20,
Yeah, it's
20-ish
about people
people.
out there, right.
Could somebody step up and give me an example?
Not Ed. Not Ed, though.
Of no, it's going to take them an hour to get there. I ain't got time for that. Could somebody hold up? Hear the whole question.
Okay, this is
right?
why I love this.
Hear the whole question, right? Could someone step up and give me an example of what Kyrie did that would classify as being anti-Semitic?
Nothing.
Okay.
Right.
No. They what
Right.
What I asked
No,
was,
there is no example. If I gave you the example, the shit would be made up. Right. Nothing. And to have the conversation, we have to understand the difference between prejudice and discrimination.
Discrimination.
Yeah.
Right?
So explain the difference.
To be
Explain the difference.
anti-Semite, it means to be discriminatory against Jewish people.
Right.
Prejudice is a thought. Discrimination is an act. Period.
Told y'all why I love this dude, right?
I don't really like
Hey,
that
I'm
guy.
gonna hug you when we get through, man.
I
I'ma
like
hug
that
you.
example. I don't really like that guy, though.
No,
I
but
like
I'm
that
telling you,
example,
man.
right?
But again, though, right?
I like his contributions to America.
So have we? So what we've done, right? We've allowed our enemy to drive a narrative that is affecting us in a bad way.
It goes way
right?
deeper, Don.
I started the
I
other
agree,
night.
it
I'm
does.
gonna tell you something.
Don, it goes way
No,
deeper
wait.
than that, though.
I'm gonna go to the Kyrie Irving conversation. Kyrie Irving, and many of y'all who know me, many of my listeners, many of my followers, especially in radio, know that I'm pretty philanthropic in the black community across the country. But Kyrie Irving, and I don't even like dealing with athletes, even though I spent many of my years in life dealing with athletes. He is probably one of the most philanthropic brothers out there, like by far, right? He's a giver, okay?
They didn't highlight that, though.
No, they're not gonna highlight it. He's a giver by far. He's one of the biggest givers, young black givers in America, right? He's made over $250 million in his 12-year career, but he's given a lot. He's a giver, right? So when he just reposts, let me tell you some of the dumb shit Don Miller has reposted, right?
That's a lot of dumb shit. But go
Okay,
ahead. How long-
we
ain't
all
got
have
all night. We ain't
we
got
all
all
have
night.
reposted some. Quentin Johnson from the Johnson family reposted some. Phil, I know you done reposted some dumb shit. Okay, Ashley, you done reposted some. We all have reposted some.
But
Like,
let me
man, I want
interject.
everybody. Have y'all
Let me-
seen this?
Let me interject.
We all have done it.
Let me fucking interject, right? Because it's bullshit and it's throwing you off to what the real issue is, like I said earlier.
Absolutely.
Right? So, like I asked last week, and I'm yet to somebody answer that question, right? Kyrie Irving posted a movie, a documentary, and a book that he randomly discovered on Amazon, right? So why the hell are people holding Kyrie more accountable for reposting it than Jeff
Bezos.
who has it available
On his
fucking
platform. Right.
So can somebody answer me that question?
And
I asked the
nobody's
question
gonna
last
answer
week,
that question.
Right?
Nobody's
so
gonna
why
answer.
is it that you coming at the person, because at that point Kyrie's a consumer, right? He's a consumer, right? You're not coming at the person that's making it available on the biggest retailer market platform in the world,
Kyrie makes no money on this.
right? He makes $0,
Right.
right? So me as a brother, right? I went on Sunday and I rented the video, right? It cost $10.99, right?
Right.
I rented it.
I did too.
right?
Quetta, you're gonna see it in a minute.
I went through the first hour and a half of it, and I'm still yet to discover of
Anti-Semitism.
What was so crazy
Anti-Semitism,
about it that
right.
he had to apologize
Right.
for.
I'm trying to. Maybe it's at the end. Maybe it's in the last 5 minutes.
Maybe it's in the credits.
Okay. Because I didn't see
you,
anything.
So you have a problem with, well, I don't know if you're saying you have a problem, but you're using it as an example of Amazon. But you have to remember that we almost label everything, just about everything, as anti-Semitic. Passion of Christ, the movie by Mel Gibson, was also labeled the same thing.
Yeah.
So
They suspended him.
But no.
Exactly.
He wasn't
that-
suspended
that label-
until he was drunk and went on a rant. He was not suspended for the
Right, yeah,
movie.
yeah, right.
Let's keep it in perspective.
I'm just saying that label is used so loosely,
So loosely.
on so
I'm a
many
fact. That's a
things,
fact.
and we just jump on the bandwagon every time somebody uses it. To me, that's just
So,
ridiculous.
so the question I pose, when you watch the Django and they say the word nigga 200 times, why is that not anti-Negro? No, it's a fact.
Because there's no such thing.
Why is it when
There's
they show
no such
roots?
thing.
When they show roots, why is that not anti-Negro?
Because that's not an elite class.
So this is the issue that I have.
the elite
You want to
class.
pick and choose of which y'all label as being racist,
Right.
right? But y'all can
The-
show
your-
our shit over and over and over again, and it's not labeled as anti-Negro.
freedom of speech
Only,
is only hindered.
against the Jews.
freedom
You
of
don't have
speech
freedom of
is
speech,
only hindered against the elite class,
which is
of
typically the Jews, unfortunately. I'm gonna say it. You ain't gotta say it. These are my words. You ain't gotta say it. I'm gonna say it.
He ain't got no job.
I ain't got no job. I ain't got nothing to live for.
He ain't got
So
no
I'm
job.
gonna
He's gonna
say-
be at the house with Ash tomorrow. But the point is, Jay, and I appreciate you, man. Jay, I love you so much, man. I just want to say this in front of everybody. You and I talked about you coming here and joining us on this show a while ago, man. And I was so excited when you showed interest because let me tell you what I can't stand. I can't stand somebody who don't stand on something, right? I don't give shits about people who don't like me because I take a position.
Shout out
right?
to Kyrie who willing
Okay.
to retire. To
Shout
stand
out to
on
Kyrie Irving
what he
who
believes
say, I'm
in.
going to take my money, I'm going to go on to the crib because I'm good,
And
right?
that ain't getting talked about enough.
Right? And to Shaquille
Shout
O'Neal.
out to Shaquille O'Neal and Charles Barkley
Right.
for being who y'all
Hey,
are.
Ed, what are they called? What do they call Ed? Fantastic. Okay. The
See,
point is,
I
right?
would have said something else, but I'm gonna let that
Right.
go.
But the point is, right? I just think we have to be careful because this country has sold this conversation about freedom of speech for so many years.
Yes.
And now I'm starting to realize whose speech is free.
Exactly.
Whose
shit ain't
speech is free, man?
Ours ain't free.
I'm concerned now.
Ours ain't free.
Whose speech is free, man?
Ours not free.
Right?
Ours not free.
Eyes not free.
Because the
That's a
moment
T-shirt. Eyes.
not-
How you say eyes?
Eyes not free,
Okay.
boss. Because the moment you get talk about slavery, they say get over it.
Right.
Right?
Right.
But you ain't never heard nobody say get over the Holocaust.
Absolutely, sir.
I will wait. If somebody
Right.
could show me something they could put on screen when somebody said get over the Holocaust that lasted 4 years.
Right. The hardcore aspect
Listen,
of it,
man.
right? Yeah.
See, the problem is y'all scared to subscribe to something and die for it.
Right.
That's the problem. You're going to die any fucking way.
Right. If they die,
They die.
can we say that again? If they
If
die,
if you die,
they
you
die. Right, man.
You're going to die anyway. Once you stand on something firm, that makes sense.
There's a special place in hell for
These
people who didn't take a
You
position.
talk about the Holocaust, that's a death sentence. Right?
There's a special
How
place in
many
hell.
movies have been out there been about the Holocaust? How many movies? Can
And,
anybody,
and
can
there's
anybody tell
nothing
me?
more important when they
You
do
got
these
Schindler's
movies.
List. You got Anne Frank.
There's nothing more. No, it's nothing more important
How many
than the
movies?
depiction. The depiction has to be the depiction.
No, Shawshank ain't about the Holocaust.
He was drinking when he watched it.
No, Monica been drinking, but we gonna let her ride, right? How many movies can you look up and honestly say has been about the Holocaust, right? How many movies can you look up today and see have been about slavery? They got a 13 million part series about Roots.
I didn't watch Roots. I'm not watching none of that. I'm not watching any more slave movies.
You
They
know,
got
I
Homicide,
Any more
they
Maid,
got Roots,
any more
Free
Butler
State of
movies,
Jones.
any more
They
Maid
got a
movies.
million movies about black slavery in this. You know what I'm saying? They have there's been no culture that's been profit off of more than black culture.
Absolutely.
There's no other culture out there that exists, right? But then you want to look and say, "Oh, get over it," right?
Right.
But you don't hear that when they talk about the Holocaust.
You know what? Wait. You know what's interesting? And I want to say this because y'all know I give no shits. I'll be 60 in a minute. As my grandma
60?
say,
you point shaving.
okay. I'll be 60 directly. As my grandma say, I'll be 60 directly. Let me just say this, right? And I want to say this to friends, and I got some great friends who are non-black, and I love y'all, and they came to see me tonight. I love you so much. Liv, I love you, baby. You know that, right? You're family to me. And Maddie, I love you, man. And drunk-ass Scott over there in the corner, I love him too. Can y'all wake Scott up and tell me here? And my boy back there, what up, baby? He wore his whole suit to this motherfucker. It's Easter. This is very important to me, huh?
It's sunny in November.
No, this is very important to me, right? Because you can call me a lot of things. I ain't anti-nothing and anti-nobody. But what I am anti is bullshit. I'm anti-bullshit. I'm anti-narrative. I'm anti-curveball conversation. And we were having a conversation last night, and I want to thank my friend who gave us 20 years of his life in the United States Navy, okay, for not going totally crazy last night. You just left. He got his
I
keys.
bounced. I went
was
home
hoping he
and took
got
my
his
medicine.
Todd. You should have been there. He went home and took his medicine.
Yeah, I bounced.
That shit got sideways last
Scott
night,
was
man.
there. My man was there. I don't know his name. The other white guy.
Tell him your name, man.
No, something right there. Jason was there.
How you don't know Jason name?
I don't know. Listen, I don't know my
I
name.
just call him Jason with the good hair.
God
Jason
so
got
mighty.
good hair. Jason got enough waves to make a motherfucker seasick. Okay, anyway.
Hey, Jason was there, Scott was there, Don was there, and I had to bounce.
I just needed this last night because what happened last night told me something. There are some people.
Hey, what you doing?
I ain't done nothing. That's your phone, dog.
Oh, that's me.
Okay? That's the first
Oh, my
rule of being on
God,
radio
mighty.
is put your phone on
Hey,
mute.
you loud as fuck.
Okay. Okay. He can finna throw me under the bus. There's something that happened last night I really want to talk about, right? Because I think the only way we move past people and get to people to understand, hey, Michelle, the only way we do this to get people to understand, hey, Michelle that's watching, the only way we move toward getting people to understand is say something. To my friends who are not black, there's some things you just can't say, man.
Listen, this is what you can't say.
You can't. Go
you
ahead.
can't tell me about the black experience and you not black.
You can't tell a black person
You
to get
cannot
over
tell
slavery.
Me, you can't tell me of the circumstances and things we had to overcome, the things I got to overcome on a daily basis. Only thing you could do is sit back and listen, right? And be educated, right? Empathy goes a long way. You ain't got to be sympathetic. You can have empathy, though, right? You can be willing to be educated so you can get a better understanding. But y'all have been conditioned so much to argue and play devil's advocate, right?
Right.
Right?
Right.
Y'all been conditioned so much to play devil's advocate that y'all come with something and say, well, what about this side of it? This ain't the time for this side of it.
Listen to me.
Because
okay?
this side of it is going to make something bad happen to you.
Let me just say something. I'm so glad you left and took your medicine. I'm just going to say this. Ash, I know you probably was at the door when he got to the house and let him right in, got all the doors open, go straight to the bedroom, take your pill, go to sleep. Because let me just say this, right? I just need people to understand, right? There's some things you can't say. There are many of us, and I know it's funny because people say dumb shit to me all the time. Well, Don, you're a conservative. Listen, I don't know my daddy. I want to fight for years. I wanted to fight everybody who knew their daddy. Okay? That was a problem. No, that's no bullshit. I wanted to fight everybody. All my friends were like, man, my daddy took me to the zoo. Man, I don't even know my daddy. I wanted to fight everybody who didn't know my daddy. I was angry. And then D'Amica Page said, the most heavy shit, we was on the Big 810 streaming live in all over Europe. We was in Europe on the BBC. And that dude told us, there's 10 million people listening to y'all. And D'Amica Page said, the first time I met my daddy
Was in Walmart.
Gosh almighty.
The first and last time.
Gosh almighty.
How old were you? How old were you?
My mom is here, so she can attest to it.
How old were you?
I may have been, like 8? I was
D'Amica said-
young. I was young.
I didn't feel bad no more.
Yeah. Made it one time.
I used to be
and
like, man, people like,
first-
man, my daddy bought me. And I'd be like, yeah, okay, whatever. I don't like your daddy
Gosh
either.
almighty.
D'Amica said, she said, I'll never forget. She never told me this. We live in we in Europe.
Yeah.
We on the BBC. World Have Your Say. We were the guest
World
show.
Have Your Say, yes.
The BBC has this platform called World Have Your Say, and they pick national, international shows, and they picked us a few times. Remember?
Yep.
And they was like, and D'Amica said, first time I met my daddy, and I'm thinking about when I was born or at my christening. She said, I was in Walmart. I'm like, Walmart? How the hell you meet your daddy at Walmart? She was 9 years old. But I'm telling you right now, please
What
be
was
careful.
Walmart selling in? I'm trying to think what they were selling.
You know what? I
I'm
was.
worried about the wrong shit. I got it.
Yeah. I was young. I remember
I'm
him.
trying to
he
lighten
was-
the mood 'cause
he
that's
was-
heavy.
He was arguing with my mom. That's it.
Yeah.
That was the first time I met him. The last time I met him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
But again, right? So you got to be careful. And I want to say this, and this is why I love Maddie. I love Maddie and Hunter and all my boys, right, Jay? Those are our friends, right?
Yeah.
You guys are our friends. Scotty, you're our friend, right?
Well, that's
Okay.
you're going too far.
Yeah, Scotty really ain't out there.
You're going a little too far, but
Scott,
I'm with
okay,
you.
all right. But the point I make is this, right? In real life,
This
right?
reverse affirmative action.
You
or some
have to
shit.
be careful. And I want to say this, right, to my white friends. What you say to black people.
Listen.
I get it. I think when you feel like you're in, career, you know this.
Don,
when
you
they feel like
you
they're
being
in.
too nice. See, Don, this
Go
is
ahead,
your
go hard.
motherfucking
Go
problem,
hard or go home.
Right? This is your problem, right?
Tell me my problem.
See, the problem is that when we engage in certain conversations, right, and we speak with a level of elevated elevated optics, right?
Okay, go ahead.
That's aggression.
Right?
That's
right?
called aggression.
Right?
Yes.
Craig, I
called,
expected you
right.
to say that, right? Right?
Okay.
But certain topics, right? Y'all say it's anger. No, because there's real life pain behind that topic.
Absolutely.
Right? Y'all can't understand that pain. So don't tell me, oh, I grew up in the hood or near the hood.
Right.
Growing up in the hood, black is totally fucking different.
Absolutely.
Whether you want to realize that or not. Right? If you got time, like I said, Google zip code 19121. Look what the stat says today. To imagine what the stat says was in 88. Right? That's real life pain. I am the only person in here where the crack bill affected the most as I look around this room. So with certain conversations you can't have with me. There's certain conversations you can't play devil's advocate with because you're playing with the wrong shit. There's no other way for me to say it. There's real life pain behind that. And you don't understand it, so you rather sit back and say, oh, what about this? So play semantics. What about that? I ain't got time for that. Because I'm the nice one, believe it or not. There's certain people that if I bring around, it's gonna go totally different. Because you're playing with the wrong conversation.
And I think for anybody to say that it's easy to make it out of where we come from,
You retarded. And I'm gonna say that, retarded. SSI check.
no,
That part.
and I think there are people who don't understand,
that.
the pain that they hit Donnie Miller with. You follow me? I'm gonna say Donnie Miller, not Don. Ain't no fucking Don Miller. There was a lot of people before there was a Don Miller, right? I don't think they understand when they see us. We drive up in nice cars and we got some decent clothes on and we got decent lives right now. But I don't think they understand that the pain.
They don't understand that every day I'm at war with myself.
Absolutely.
You don't understand that. Because when you look and see, and I put a smile on my face, and I walk around, I try to make people laugh, I try to make other people enjoy themselves, that I'm at war with myself every second of the fucking day. So for you to come up and play games with certain conversations, yeah, I'm gonna take it personal. Because you can't fathom the pain that I endure every single day, every second of the day. So yeah, I'm gonna take that personal. And yeah, that's some shit I'm willing to die behind.
Go ahead.
I don't know how to go into that conversation because, listen, my experience may not be Jay's experience or may not be someone else's experience in the room, but I think that we probably all have experience. We've all
it's
had
relative.
some really.
It's relative.
We've all had some really painful experiences, and I could probably gauge that I've experienced some things that's probably even more. Probably harder than what you've experienced. However, I do think that we have to get to a place, or at least we should strive to get to a place where we're not warring within ourselves, but there's some peace. I do believe we should try to get to a place of peace, because once you get to that place of peace, then you can actually have that conversation with people who don't understand. And then they can have a better understanding. But if you're emotionally sensitive in that area, then you'll never be a part of the solution in having an intelligent conversation with those who don't understand. A lot of people have mentioned to me, that, I've had some Caucasian people who feel very comfortable talking to me about things that they wouldn't necessarily talk to another black person about. Mm-hmm. But that's because I make them feel comfortable saying some things that they wouldn't say to someone else. And I don't get upset about it, and I don't take it personal. And then we're able to really have a dialogue. Now, maybe some people will never get to that point, but I think that it would help in that relationship and building relations if we can, at least a couple of us can get to that place where we can have that conversation. And
Damika, I pray, and I love you, Jay. You know you're my man. I pray, right, that Jay can get to a point, right, where, and I understand his pain.
But
okay?
you had no fathom of the pain, though.
I know you got some pain, right? I know. I can't fathom, right?
Yeah.
But I know that you're still here today.
No, but the problem is this. It's not even that, Don.
By the grace of God.
It's not,
can we give it to God?
It's definitely grace of God.
Okay, go ahead.
It's definitely grace of God.
Right.
But the problem with the disconnect is that is when a person is not willing to listen, right? Where they think they could tell you what your plight is, what your circumstances were, what you had to endure, what you had to overcome. That's where the issue arises at.
But then that's not a conversation.
Because that is the issue. That is the issue. It's not willingness to empathize or understand or listen. They got to immediately come with a rebuttal and tell you.
No, they
Like,
come. They
I
come.
think-
No,
you know what I
they
think?
come with why you complaining.
Yeah, why you complaining?
Right.
Why you complaining? It's 2022. Y'all got everything y'all need. Why y'all complaining? Meanwhile, I got dudes, I got family that still got their hands in the mud. Right? When I go home,
But Jay-
hold on, time out. Look, listen, when I go home, I don't go to the suburbs. I don't go to the suburbs. I go to them dirty blocks, the vacant houses, the crack vials on the street. That's what I go home to. So you gotta understand what my plight is. You can't understand my plight. You can't give me a lick of advice.
Go ahead.
You can't. You're not qualified.
Go ahead.
We're just two different people. We
That's
think
a
differently.
fact.
Because for me, if somebody is in that kind of place and space, then it won't be a conversation, and it's a waste of energy. So you're gonna get upset. You're taking it personal. You're gonna say some things. It's not gonna register with them anyway. So
I
it's
don't
a waste of
engage
time.
in it. That's
You know,
why I left.
Yeah, you might as well just call
That's
it a
why
day.
I left.
you
That's
know?
why I left.
You call it
That's,
a day.
That's
you move
exactly
it on.
why I left. That's why I
Yeah.
said I'm going.
It's a
I'm
waste
going.
of time.
I'll see you tomorrow. Because at that point, it's like, but that's the problem. But you gotta look at
But
that.
you won't change
but
that
you know,
person.
Listen. You gotta look at that. You gotta quantify it.
Right.
Right. You gotta look at the big picture because that's wrong with the big picture. It's not just I can
You
take
can't.
that.
You
I
can't.
I
we can't change. We can only change a little piece of the picture.
Listen. but this is the problem, right? That conversation where someone is failing to realize what's being said on a one-on-one conversation is a direct correlation to the bigger picture.
Absolutely.
That's the issue.
You know, and what I hear both
it's
of y'all
not
saying.
micro, it's macro.
But what I hear both of you guys saying, both you lady and gentleman saying is that, and I sit in these rooms, and many of us sit in these rooms, especially my friends who are here tonight. I love you guys so much for coming out. We are at Chantel's Soul Food Restaurant, Chantel's Just Until in Sanford, Florida. Subscribe and like. Please subscribe and like the Don Miller Show on YouTube. What I hear both of you saying is we've come to a point where people have become so comfortable downplaying the plight, Creer, downplaying the plight, Todd, of us. It is okay
They
to
dumb comfortable.
downplay the struggle,
They're
right?
dumb comfortable.
Okay? And I don't know how we got to this point.
What do you
How do
mean
we
you
get
don't
to
know?
this
But
condition
what
then?
do you know?
It's been
But
that way
why would
forever.
you say you don't know how we've gotten to
It's been that way forever.
We're post Obama.
It's been that way forever.
I think it has become so arrogant, right, that someone will sit at the table with several people of color and say, y'all need to start complaining. And it just happened,
Obama
guys.
said the same thing.
Sure did. Yeah, he did.
and y'all
Come on
voted.
now,
And y'all tell me Obama was it.
He did a speech.
And what did he say?
Stop complaining.
Wait. What did he
What
say?
did take your house shoes off or something? He
Right.
said-
And he passed a bill of Asian hate, but not Negro hate.
Right.
You know, he said
We
that.
gotta go to break almost.
He
We're
said
almost
that
time for
speech
break.
to the Black Caucus.
Facts.
Look, we get ready to go to break. We're going to take
That's
a
a
quick
fact.
break. We're going to come back. Chantel's, absolutely some of the best food you're going to find downtown Sanford, Florida, 503 Sanford Avenue. Chantel's Just Until. This is Don Miller, Real Rap Kane, D'Amica Page. We're going to run the break. We're ready to go to break, big guy. We're going to take a 5-minute break. Stay with us. Please don't go anywhere. We're going to come back in a few minutes. We're going to talk about the polls and the numbers that are coming in for elections across the country. We got some great guests in the house. We're going to have a couple of people come to the microphone. Listen, you don't want to miss the second half of the show. Thank you so much for joining us. The Don Miller Show. Click like and subscribe. Hit the bell so you'll be notified when we come on next. The Don Miller Show. We'll be back in a moment. Stay with us.
Welcome back to our live coverage of the 2022 midterm elections. It's 9 p.m. here on the East Coast, and the polls have just closed in 14 states all across the country.
Okay, so let's get to it. We've got a lot of results to read to you, and we'll start the Arizona Senate race. This is a very tight race, and stop me if you've heard this before. It is too early to call. We will keep an eye on that. Same story in Wisconsin, a Senate race. Ron Johnson trying to hold on. Mandela Barnes, the challenger there, too early to call.
We'll continue with the theme, too early to call, in Colorado. Right now in the Senate race there, Michael Bennet, the Democrat, over Joe O'Dea. In Iowa Senate, too early to call. Chuck Grassley against the Democrat Michael Franken.
Let's go to Kansas, and we can project that Jerry Moran will return to the United States Senate. There's a big governor's race going on there in Kansas. We don't have any results there yet to report. And in Louisiana, too early to call. They've got the 50% rule here, so we'll keep an eye on that one. John Kennedy trying to hang on to his Senate seat.
In the New York Senate race, NBC projects that Chuck Schumer, the majority leader, will retain his seat. And let's look at our North Dakota numbers. Too early to call out of North Dakota.
South Dakota, we do have a projected winner. Senator John Thune returns to office. And let's see where we stack up in the Senate at this hour. It's a 50-50 split. And right now we can report Democrats have 38 seats. Republicans have 39. We'll continue to keep our eye on the big picture there.
Let's move over to the governor's races now, starting in Arizona. Too early to call that hard-fought race between Democrat Katie Hobbs and Carrie Lake, the former news anchor. In Kansas, too early to call, but you can see the Democratic incumbent way out in front right now. Michigan's governor's race, too early to call.
Wisconsin governor's race, too early to call right now. Tony Evers, the incumbent, up against Tim Michels. In Colorado, it's too early as well. Jared Polis looking for another term against Heidi Ganahl. And we'll go to Minnesota. Oh, governor of Iowa, sorry. Kim Reynolds, too early to call. She's the incumbent there.
And Minnesota, too early to call that race between incumbent Tim Walz, Democrat, and Scott Jensen. And we're looking at the Nebraska, too early to call. This is Nebraska governor's race. Carol Blood, the Democrat, versus Jim Pillen. Too early to call in that race. New Mexico governor, also too early to call.
Let's go to New York. This is a race that tightened up in the late stages. We'll see. It's too early to call right now whether Kathy Hochul can get her first full term as governor. In South Dakota, the governor's race, too early to call, but Kristi Noem, that has become a national Republican, some talk about her as a potential presidential candidate. She is leading at this hour. In Texas, it is too early to call, but Greg Abbott is leading at this hour, looking to get another term there.
In the Wyoming governor's race, too early to call. Mark Gordon, the Republican incumbent, right now in front. Rhode Island governor, it's projected winner Daniel McKee, the Democratic incumbent, will win another term. And the Vermont governor's race, Phil Scott, the Republican, the projected winner over Brenda Siegel. He handedly defeats her.
Okay, so we have talked a lot about some of the issues driving this election. The economy, rising prices, inflation, those are clearly top of mind for so many voters. We want to talk to Stephanie Ruhle. She's NBC's senior business analyst, host of the 11th Hour on MSNBC. Steph, I have to say, one of the key indicators, consumer confidence. We have seen that number drop at a level not seen in decades, perhaps matching the inflation we had not seen in decades.
Savannah, it's really interesting because people vote based on how they feel, and consumer confidence is obviously about feeling. But when you dig into the economy, it's not all bad. What it is complicated, right? If you take a snapshot of the economy tonight, election night tonight, in 2020 and in 2018, it's a mixed picture. Now, at the top line, we know this. Inflation is higher tonight. Food prices, gas prices, all higher. Mortgage rates, obviously a lot higher because the Fed has raised rates trying to slow inflation. But here's the thing. That's not the whole picture. We know that unemployment today is very low. We're back to pre-pandemic levels. Huge positive. If you want a job, there is one available in this country. But for Democrats, that's really difficult to message, right? You can't fit inflation's bad, but it's much worse in other countries on a bumper sticker. So while Democrats haven't said much, Republicans have been disciplined and relentless, hammering their economic message over and over. They outspent Democrats 5-1 on economic ads. And so when you factor all of that in, that people are talking about economic woes at their kitchen tables, Republicans are filling the airwaves with their messaging, and Democrats not saying much or not saying enough soon enough. It's no surprise that this is a big vulnerability for them.
Stephanie, have Republicans, though, laid out a plan, or have they just been effective in going after the bad economy and Democrats?
They have not laid out a plan at all. And that's actually what President Obama has kind of hammered home in his closing message, saying, hold on a second, they're not offering you something on the other side. And many of your social services, your Social Security, your Medicare, your Medicaid might get cut. But it was late for Democrats to message that. And it really goes back to the complication. You know, Hallie mentioned it in the last hour. She was talking to a small business owner in Georgia struggling. Georgia's economy is actually doing better than most other states. If you think about the Port of Savannah, the booming business it's seen in the last 2 years, huge. But that business owner she talked to was in the real estate business, the mortgage business. And we know real estate has gotten more difficult given mortgage rates. So it's just a tough message to get across and easy for the party that's not in power to say, are you struggling? Is this difficult? And it is. You see it every time you go to the grocery store.
All right, Stephanie, thanks.
It reminds me of the 1992 campaign in the Clinton War Room with the famous sign, Andrea, it's the economy stupid. And you know, honestly, for these elections, it so often is the economy that's the top issue for voters.
And it's inflation, and as the White House Chief of Staff, Ron Klain, says, he looks at the gas prices every morning, and even though they've come down, they've not come down enough. And in our exit poll, showed that by the voters, 52% trust Republicans to handle the economy. Only 44% trust Democrats to handle the economy. And 46% of the people in our exit poll said that their personal family financial situation is worse than it was 2 years ago. And this is the worst number that we've seen since the Great Recession. So that is a big shift. Look, inflation is the most important issue by far. And abortion, less so, but higher than we expected, at least according to the exit polls. Crime, much less so. But the Republicans have just been hammering Joe Biden on inflation, and Democrats are being punished for it.
Well, Hallie, I mean, a lot of analysts have said that Democrats didn't sufficiently answer the charges on the economy or on crime, that the sort of a deer in the headlights in terms of the crime attack, which has tightened up races in these last few weeks, where they thought they weren't going to be as competitive.
Let me tell you, what I've heard from Democrats was exactly that issue, Savannah, when they were talking about places where they were nervous, feeling like Democrats were really put on defense by Republicans on the issue of crime kind of late in the game. And in key places like, for example, Pennsylvania. Look at Wisconsin, where that's been another key issue, too. So, yeah, crime right there sitting at number 3, by the way, tied for gun policy on issues that are important to voters. You know, inflation and crime, what they have in common, they're really tangible to people. Sometimes, like, you know, 3 of us live in Washington. People sit there in the Beltway and they talk about things that are sort of esoteric. Everybody puts together a grocery budget, right? Everybody walks out of their home to go to their car or to school or whatever. You feel these issues in a really tangible way. You look at where Democrats are right now, more voters say President Biden's policies are hurting this country than helping, right? These are the headwinds that Democrats are facing, and we're seeing it in races across the country. Savannah, I know you're interested in the Kansas governor's race, which was too early to call right now, which makes sense, but you look at the Republican there, Derek Schmidt, he has tried to tie the incumbent governor, Laura Kelly, to President Biden in a big way. That's been a big issue in that race in a state that Donald Trump won by double digits. That is a reflection of what we're seeing in other key states around the country, too.
Well, governor's mansions could be switching hands in more than 30 states.
Bring us back.
Say when, Phil.
When?
We back. The second hour of a 2-hour episode. We back. I don't know how crazy this is gonna get on the second half, but buckle up.
Thank you so much, everybody, again.
We're live at
once
Chantel.
again, we appreciate our live studio audience. We appreciate for people driving through a hurricane to come through and check us and be here with us tonight.
Well, some of us.
We
appreciate some of y'all. No, it's not Scott.
Yeah, it's some people I don't appreciate, but you know, we appreciate people for making it through. you know, we really touch on some heavy topics that is not for the faint of heart, right? It's not meant to be offensive. It's meant to be educational, and
Conversational.
and conversational. Thank you, Damika. Like, you know what I mean? So we can build this conversation so we can grow. right?
Absolutely.
We need to stop allowing the masses to divide us and choosing sides.
Absolutely.
We're really, it's only 99% we on the same side. Y'all got to understand that, right?
For real.
99% we on the same side. We got the same plight, and we need to push the agenda forward with us in unison, right? As long as they can divide us and separate us and use trick words and make people play devil's advocate or make people use semantics, we're forever going to be divided.
Absolutely.
Right? I was raised on the saying, right? So I'm gonna tell y'all, I'm from North Philadelphia, but my family's from North Carolina, right? My great grandmother said a saying to me. She said, "What's good for the goose is good for the gander."
Yeah, that's all.
Right? So,
Old school.
so if one thing is good for one side, it's good for, I'm gonna dumb it down for some people that may have not have ever heard that saying, right? If things are good from one side, it's good for the other side, right? There should be no division on that, but we have too much division in this country, purposeful division. So we can get up here when you see a Kyrie Irving, you see a Kanye West, when you see these key people, right, who are able to be ostracized and pretty much humiliated on a global scale, right? That is the plan, because it's a distraction. It takes us away from the core problems of what we're facing on a day-to-day basis.
You know, Don, beyond the division part of that conversation, to me, what should be more problematic is the fact that anybody who decides to voice their opinion, and if it's different from the mainstream media, then
You're going against the grain. You're going against the grain.
Immediately attacked. So Kyrie, it wasn't the first time, because when he started voicing his opinion about mandatory vaccination,
correct,
they came at him then. So anytime you believe something, think something, or have a position about something that's contrary to the popular belief, they're coming for you, and that should be problematic to anybody. It should make everyone nervous that you can't have your own opinion. It's anti-free thinking.
Yeah. No,
you know?
because we supposed to have freedom of speech, right? This is the United States of America, right? This is supposed to be the most free planet, the freest country on the planet, right? But
again,
wait a second now. So when they say, I want to hit Damika's point real quick, because what she said was very important. So when Kyrie was talking about being anti-vaccination,
mandatory vaccination, yes.
The key point what people were missing
to come into the arena.
The key point what was missing is that they got to understand what this drug industry is built on, right? With this drug industry complex, right? So they wasn't out there preaching to tell people to boost their immune systems. The stronger your immune system is, this vaccination ain't got shit to do with you catching COVID or not. Let's be real. How many people that caught COVID that don't been vaccinated with the booster? The key part about this is to strengthen your immune system through non-pharmaceutical drugs. That's the part they don't want people to realize.
But again, this is my thing here, right? Kyrie Irving is a really smart young man.
Except for the earth is flat shit.
Okay, whatever, right? Okay. Can I take a minute,
Can everybody
right?
have a moment? he had a
I'm
moment.
pause that.
How many?
Pause moment.
Okay, now I got
we know that was retarded.
I'd have had a bunch of moments.
The earth was flat, Joan, was crazy.
But listen to this, right? I want to say something, right? Because I like to acknowledge people who made a difference in my life, right? I ain't seen this dude in many, many years. Sitting in the audience today is a friend of mine.
You got friends?
Yeah, this guy's still my friend.
tracking.
I ain't seen him in years. Tim Povtek, you've seen his work in the New York Times, the Chicago Tribune, the Los Angeles Times, the Boston Globe. He covered the NBA for 20 years. He was the NBA beat writer for teams you like. Okay, and
With the Sixers?
no, he
That's
never
all I
liked.
care
He never
about.
liked the Sixers.
That's all I care
Timmy,
about.
you never covered the Sixers, right?
Well, he
Okay.
ain't cover nobody then. He don't count. You got to get somebody else.
But thank you for showing up, my friend. I really appreciate you being here. This guy, first time I was ever on the front page of the newspaper, he wrote the story. It was a 3 or 4 page story, and I thank you so much, man. But this guy has always been in my corner. He understood what I was trying to do when I was trying to save young black athletes from themselves. And so thank you so much for showing up, man. I appreciate you being here. I want to just talk about Kyrie Irving, right? Because I think Kyrie Irving is being attacked for whatever reason. I still can't figure it out. Because I watched an hour. I watched an hour.
Exactly, that's what I said.
He's going against the grain.
I watched an hour and 33 minutes of that movie and did not see what I deem as anti-Semitism in an hour and 33 minutes, right? So
we probably about lockstep. I watched about enough of that too.
So I'm trying to figure out why his attack. So I went back to the drawing board and I started to think, right? I believe that this is something else with Kyrie Irving, right? And I'm concerned when I see people like Shaquille, and Timmy, you know my relationship with Shaquille, and many of these guys.
Timmy don't know that.
Timmy Poptek does.
He don't know that.
Yes, he does.
Back there smiling with his hand on
Timmy,
his face.
you know that relationship, right?
Don't give him no alibi.
He knows
don't
that,
give him
right?
No alibi.
He knows
don't
my relationship.
That.
I'm in 2 Michael Jordan books. Timmy knows that. I was in the trenches, right?
He's just here and he's happy to be here. And he's smiling.
Okay. Get some of the fried fish, Tim. The point I make is this, right? We got to be careful when we see people like those guys attack this guy, because I think I really believe, right, that the real crisis in America, the real deficit, is critical thinking.
Absolutely, that's what I said. Anti-free thinking.
You know,
You can't think different. You can't
think
have
freely
your own
in America.
thinking.
What are you talking about?
You know,
you can't think freely.
No.
You gotta follow the program of thinking.
Absolutely.
You can't think freely.
Put you back in the box.
Put you back in. No. You. What?
Stay in the box. Get in the box.
What? Stay
in the box.
Jump in there. Get out if you want to.
Okay, in the words of Black Ass Ken, you're going to get yourself in trouble. I'm sorry. Hey, Todd, you caught that? But again, I want to look at Kanye West, and I want to take this.
I'm still waiting. I'm sorry, Don. I don't want to cut you off. I don't want to be rude.
Go ahead.
I'm still waiting on the key statement that Kanye West made that was anti-Semitic.
No.
This is like Jeopardy.
Hey, Phil, how about reading some of the comments from our many listeners all over the country? We got a lot of people following us live right now on YouTube and on Facebook. Hey, how about reading some of the comments?
All right, we have no freedom of speech.
Right.
Someone wants to know, can you read the definition of Semite?
Okay. All right. Cool. Okay. Well,
definition,
D'Amica's a better reader than me and Jay, so D'Amica's gonna probably read that.
No, I'm clinically retarded.
Go Murray State Racers.
Go Racers.
Okay. You went to West Virginia State.
Yeah.
They don't even have a mascot.
They do. The
What's
boots,
it?
the Yellow Jackets.
Okay. Oh, look at that. You remember?
I went to 2 classes.
I went to DeVry. I went to DeVry.
I went to 2 classes.
Oh, Yellow State. Virginia State Yellow Jackets.
Yeah, I went to 2 classes.
So go ahead, D'Amica.
I mean, the short definition is hostile to or prejudiced against Jewish people.
Okay, I don't know if
that
there's
is one of the short definitions.
There's nobody in this room is hostile or prejudiced to Jewish people.
No, so this is the trick shot, right? So this is what I was talking about earlier, right? So when you understand the landscape of what we're dealing with and what we're facing and what actually runs the world and influences the world, right? If you understand distribution, if you understand media, if you understand these key terms, you understand who are the culture or whatever that's attached to it, that's behind it.
Right.
Right? So my issue was this, and this is my issue. If it's wrong to say anything that could be remotely viewed as being anti-Semitic, right? If you could come back and say, if somebody say, i.e., they're not telling the truth about the Holocaust.
Right.
Right? You're immediately deemed as being anti-Semitic.
Right.
Right? But however, when it comes to the Negro culture, they want people to believe that our culture and our history started at fucking slavery. Right?
Right.
When they come and say the Roman Empire was the largest empire, army that the world has seen, but they want to omit
But don't you think
empire,
that? But don't you
I got a fucking problem.
But don't you think? Don't you think that education
No, because Don, stop with the bullshit. This is where we going to disconnect.
Okay, go ahead.
This is the problem.
Okay.
Right? We know the average person in the world is going to look at what they see on screen and say, "Oh, okay, that's true." The average person is not going to read and do no research to discover what is false from fiction.
Right.
Correct or not?
Right.
Right? So whatever narrative you project to the people is going to be the narrative that the average person is going to go with.
Right.
It's called propaganda.
Right? They're not going to do any further research. They're not going to do no due diligence.
That's
right?
the purpose of
That
propaganda.
is a small sector of people that's actually going to fact check and say, "Oh, you know what? That is historically inaccurate." Right?
But again,
but you can't be remotely inaccurate when it comes to their culture and their history.
But again,
even though the Jewish culture start with the Negro.
But again,
What are we talking about?
But Jay, you got to listen to me, really, because I think the biggest problem is greatest deficit is critical thinking, right? And
What is critical thinking?
let me find that definition because I'm on that thing right now. I'm on
real
that
rap.
nearest. Todd, I'm on that nearest.
No, real rap.
I'm on that nearest.
What is critical
I
thinking?
bet Career know. I
What
bet
is
Career
critical
know.
thinking?
Y'all got all these smart people. Credit Jean Johnson from the Johnson family, ridiculous behavior. I bet she know. The point is this, right? Let me just say this, right? We have to be careful.
No, y'all got to be careful.
So,
Okay.
So you understand that you have two sides of the coin, right? So Jay just talked about propaganda. That's what that is.
Correct.
Propaganda.
Correct.
And then Don is talking about free thinking
Don's being nice.
or critical thinking. Critical thinking is the opposite.
They don't teach us critical thinking.
So it takes a critical thinker to think beyond the propaganda.
But they
So
don't
those two
condition us for that,
things,
though.
those two things.
But so you spent all those years.
automatically
Direct
go
conflict.
against each
You
other.
spent all those years in the military.
No,
You
they
never
ain't got-
learned it.
They ain't got nothing to do with me. I understand. Listen here, G. I don't wrote things on a level that you can't even understand.
Right.
Right? But
They never taught you critical thinking.
No, I have learned critical. I had to learn critical thinking. I'm an anomaly.
Right.
That is the issue. They don't teach the masses critical thinking. They want the masses to be robots and do this. Yeah. You articulated that right, or you made that sound so convincing, it got to be the truth.
So my question is this. So when you see a guy like Kyrie Irving, who I think is a nice young man, okay, who reposts something, didn't write a script himself, just reposted something, right? Didn't put up anything in the box. He just reposted something. And he's
the scapegoat.
He's being attacked.
He's the scapegoat. Call it what it is. He's a scapegoat.
Right.
Because why not attack Jeff Bezos, who made it available on his platform? Amongst other things, if y'all really want to know what's available on Amazon, this is ill.
Man.
It's ill.
There's some stuff on Amazon.
Look at what's available on Amazon.
Yeah, I agree with that. There's
Y'all
some
missing
stuff on
it.
Amazon.
It's not even about
But-
that. Kyrie has been outspoken way too many times. You know,
That's
he-
what it is.
exactly
That's what it
what
is.
it is.
No,
been
that's what it is.
No, you know
He's
what it
been-
is? You know what it
he's been-
is? I'm going to tell you what it is. Nigga, we don't give you all this money, stay in your place.
You could say it that way.
No,
you know.
that's what it is. That's exactly what it is. Listen, you come from this or come from that, we gave you all this money, stay in your lane.
Yeah.
What the chick say to LeBron? Shut up and dribble.
Yes, I remember
That's
that.
a fact. That's not me making this up. Shut up and dribble.
And can I just say this? As much as it pains me to say you're correct, right? But I contend, and I look at America today, and I spent 30 years, 25 years dealing with professional athletes, and I always told my guys, if you can't go deep into the conversation about an
Shut
issue,
up.
just shut up and dribble.
No, that
okay,
part.
I
Shut
told
up.
her, okay, let's be clear. So when I heard shut up and dribble, it didn't throw Don Miller off. Tim Popdeck was there. I had some guys wanted to have press conferences, and I'm like, you're going to embarrass yourself. You don't know what the hell you're talking about, okay? I'm just saying I get it, and we're living in a different time now, right? I think
We're not living in a different time.
Yes,
now.
we are. We
live
social media.
Yes.
Social media has
You saying
changed.
access.
Okay, access to
Okay,
social
I
media.
agree with that.
Okay, when you got a platform,
I agree with that.
and you can write something in 1 minute, and 2 million, 10 million, 20 million people
I agree
will
with that.
see what you
That's
wrote.
a fact. That's a big fact.
Let's go. Let's start there. Let's have
That's
this
a big
conversation. Social media has become a big problem just in the way we engage, man.
That's a big fact.
When people think about it, they're some of the dumbest people in the history of dumbass people. Let me repeat that.
No. Say it again.
There's
Say it
some
again.
people that are some of the dumbest people in the history of dumbass people that have 10 million followers, right? Let me just say this, and I want to say this. If you're offended, leave the room immediately, but take some of this
You
fish
should
with
have
you.
logged on. You're going to be offended.
Take some of this
easily.
fish
You
with
should have been logged on.
I hate to go down this road. I want to say the views and opinions expressed on this show, not necessarily those
Do they
two.
do
No,
that?
it is
I
me.
think that's just
Okay.
Okay,
It is
let me
me.
just say
They do that
something.
online.
If you're a black man and you put your penis in a Kardashian, okay,
You're a jackass.
that's on you. Okay, right? We need
You're a
to immediately
jackass.
call the CDC on the Kardashian, the Center for Demonic Coochie.
See, Don, you being too nice. I'm
Right?
going to say
Right?
you need to kill
There's
yourself.
never been a black man that
I'm going
has.
to say you need to kill
What is
yourself.
it?
There's never been a black man that has
Well,
laid with a Kardashian
that's
that has
turned out
done
right.
amazing.
That's turned out right.
Immediately after.
What does
Not
that have
one.
to do with what we're
I'm
talking about?
let me tell you, I'm
don't
bringing
know.
it
You threw a
full circle.
curveball. You know,
That's a
Don.
curveball.
You know,
I know you've been on
you
this
know,
show. I know you've been
Don.
with me, right?
Yeah,
You know,
The point
Don.
I
I'm
make is
waiting.
this, right? It's amazing how we see stuff right in front of us, and then somebody swoops in, and exactly what we're looking at becomes not what we're looking at, right? Think about this. Think about all these athletes, right? Mm-hmm. When a Kardashian mess over one athlete, another one is immediately in the wings, right? Who the hell
Can't
are
wait
these
to get with
guys,
it. They
right?
think it's a come up. They think
Yeah,
it's a
right. Like,
come
ah,
up,
man, she messed his credit up too. I'm next. Okay, let me explain something to you, right? If
And
you
then like
are
Lamar Odom.
right, man, Lamar Odom died in a brothel and came back to life in a brothel.
And he still ain't right. And he still ain't right.
Who among us? Okay, turn to your neighbor and say, neighbor, I ain't with him.
He
Okay,
acting like Nusso right now.
listen to me say
He
something,
acting
right?
like Nusso right now, dribbling that invisible basketball.
Listen to me, right? I've been doing this radio thing for a long time, right? And I've been on every level of platform in this business for a long
Because
time.
you pretending right now.
Huh?
You pretending.
Tell me what I'm
You
doing.
pretending like, okay, it's a stereotype, but it's pretty darn close
Right.
to being true. Black athletes, they think they have arrived when they have a Caucasian woman with a big booty.
First of all,
With a fake booty. That's what we gonna say. We gotta put that out there, a fake booty.
Big, it's still big.
It's still
They
fake.
feel like they got vanilla.
guys are so
they
racist.
Feel like they got a
Fake.
vanilla sister.
Yeah, that's a fact.
I did not want to have the show tonight.
A vanilla sister.
You did want that show
I
tonight.
still don't
You
know what
pushed
that
it.
has
What
to
you
do with
talking
what we were
about?
talking
This is
about.
not. This is
though.
inappropriate, and I'm just trying to get some sponsors, and y'all killing it.
What sponsor's going?
This is what I'm saying,
Sponsored
right? Can
by
I get back
Antifa.
to the point I'm trying to damn make?
Because I
Right?
still don't know what it is.
Okay, what's the motto of this show?
Listen, laugh, and learn.
Drink and judging.
And listen, laugh and learn. Drinking the
and judging.
judge,
You
right?
can't have 5 mottos.
I got
now.
2
You
mottos.
just-
Listen,
and
laugh, and
judging.
learn. And what else?
Drinking and
and
judging.
right? The point I'm making is this, right?
Shout out to Uncle Nearest.
Okay, shout out to Uncle Nearest, right? The point I'm making is this. It's very important that I have this conversation. I see what's happening to Kyrie Irving. I see the people that's attacking him for reposting and
Reposting, that's the key word.
and standing down on a conversation. And this is my challenge, Tim Poptak. None of these people are as smart as Kyrie Irving, right? So my concern here is, right? Look, I love these guys. I spend my life with these basketball guys, right? But I understand that just you have to. There's a lane, man. No matter how much money Kyrie's at $250 paid, he made $250 already in 12 years, like a little under $250 million.
No, he got enough people.
The point I make is this. If you cannot take a moment and eloquently explain the position you took, you can't repost it, and when they put a mic in your face, Kyrie, don't want to engage in the conversation. That's what happened when he ran from the conversation, and maybe he wasn't ready, but you have to, when you're at that level financially, when you're paid at that level, you got to be ready for anything that's thrown at you. Kyrie created this environment by not being able to absolutely eloquently say, this is why I did this. go watch it, and
But
then
why-
you
no,
come
time
back.
out, time out, time out. Don, this is where we're going. This is where we're going to separate it.
Go ahead.
So why is it that when it comes to us, we gotta be the one that expound on what our feelings are, or what our intent was?
Because it was way over the top.
You know what I'm
Suspended
saying?
without pay for that.
No, that's what I'm saying
Come
though.
on now.
Why it gotta be with us that we gotta expound on thoroughly to explain on what we meant, what our intent was behind what we posted? It's a post. Let's dumb it all the way down. It was a post. Who else in America, in the world, gotta explain a post?
When they're to America.
Suspended without
wait,
pay.
wait,
Come on,
wait,
come
wait,
on,
wait,
come
wait.
on. Let's cut the bullshit.
Wait.
Let's cut the bullshit.
Wait. They're still two Americas.
No, it's more than two. It's way more than two.
Okay.
It's
So
way
if
more
you
than two.
know and you agree that it's more than two Americas.
No, but this is the issue.
Right.
This
Oh,
is
no
the
question.
issue. And then when you get black people that say, "Oh, it contained offensive language," and they can't even tell you what was offensive about it because they didn't read the book or watch the documentary. They repeating what they heard. So when they cause division within us, it further perpetuates their agenda.
But can I just say something?
And I don't got a ninth grade education, but I'm retarded.
Can I just say something? You realize, right, that there were other slaves that brought slaves to slave ships.
Woman king.
Can I say that one more time?
It was other people involved in the Holocaust.
There were slaves that brought slaves to
I
slave ships.
swear they're
right?
gonna kill me if I say.
And we got to be careful, right? This weekend, I toured 2 slave plantations, right? And I needed this in my life at a level that I didn't even realize I needed it. I went to 2 slave plantations. One, the Hoffel Plantation in St. Simons, Brunswick, Georgia. And I went to another plantation in beautiful Jacksonville, right? And I needed to see this because I'm listening to the people from the United States Department of the Interior that runs
Dr.
these
Oscar
parks,
and smoke.
right?
Go ahead.
That runs
Dr.
these
Oscar and
parks.
smoke.
Okay.
They wrote him up
Okay,
in
I'm gonna
the
get there. We're
Dutch.
gonna get there in the next. We're gonna get there. And it's amazing when you show up at a plantation, right? And the person that knows more about first of all, it's amazing when you show up at a slave camp, a 7,000-acre slave plantation, Todd. I want you guys to go check this out, right? 7,000 acres, a Hoffel Plantation in Brunswick, Georgia. 7,000 acres, and no blacks on the tour. It's amazing when you leave there and you go to the Kingsley Plantation in Jacksonville. No blacks on the tour. And then you ask yourself, do we really give a shit about who we are? Because the white people are lining up to understand the history of the Negro in this country.
They're not lining up. Come on.
No. Huh?
Cut that out.
Huh?
Cut that out. They're
Go
not
ahead.
lining
Go
up.
ahead.
Go ahead.
They're not lining
Come
up.
on, Todd. Get the mic. The mic's right there.
they're
Go
not
ahead,
lining
because
up.
I want to hear this. Because I was stunned that there were no more black people
Hey man,
on
raise
this
the
tour.
mic up. You're a little too tall.
Yeah.
I think they
Y'all
just
got-
own the property. I don't think that
Huh?
that black folks are not interested. I think that the white folks just own the property.
No, these people didn't know. These people were from all over the country. They were on this tour to see this slave camp.
Who else got it?
Go ahead.
I'd say the reason
No,
why...
come to the mic because I want to do this real quick. Come here. Go
So
to
who's speaking right now is
Okay.
Chantel.
Hey, let me just say
who
this.
establishment we're currently
Wait.
at.
We are at Chantel's Just Until. This is my friend Chantel. Chantel is now in the Guinness Book of World Records, y'all. She broke the
Black
record.
excellence.
Black excellence, right?
Black small business.
Hey, Chris,
That's why we're here.
and Timmy Poptek, you got to write a piece on her.
That's why we're here.
Let me just say this. Chantel is in the Guinness Book now. Maddie, you know Chantel. Chantel wrote, hit 48 states in how many days?
23.
23 days on a Harley.
We
Okay?
still want us driving Harleys, but we're going to go ahead and leave that alone. Okay. We're
So
going to leave that alone.
Chantel, go ahead.
What I was saying to your point about that we're not interested. And the reason why I think you see more people, you don't see a lot of people of color in line, because it's painful. It's traumatic.
Okay.
So, so it hurts us. For us to talk about it, it affects us. We live through it. We don't discuss it with each other as much. So indirectly, it appears like white people know more about us. No, they can just discuss it as much, way more than we can, because it doesn't hurt.
Well, thank you for, because that made me feel better. Thank you so much. I mean that, right?
Chantel, no, we're not going to do that.
And to her
We're
point,
not going to do that.
And to her point, not only can they go and visit and have a conversation about it, but there's no emotional attachment. That's why they can go. There's an
Feel
emotional
empathy from it, you know. Certainly, they can
Because
feel
we've been
empathy from it.
conditioned. We've been conditioned to say it is what it is.
Well,
No, listen.
You can still say it is
No,
what it is,
no,
but
listen.
learning about it.
No, listen to the difference in the rhetoric, though. Listen to the difference in the rhetoric, right? What I alluded to earlier. You can't speak about the Holocaust. You speak about the Holocaust, you better be factually correct in what you speak about, right? When it comes to Negro history, you could be as inaccurate as possible.
In
Why
America.
In America.
You
In the
can't be
world,
inaccurate.
really. In the world,
No,
really.
not in the world. America don't want
No.
you.
Time out. I've been
in the
all
world.
around this world now. Time out.
only
You
in
talking to a
America.
dude that been all around this world now. Time out. I'm not the average bear. I may look like the nigga from North Philadelphia.
Don't say that N-word.
but I don't care.
Okay.
Blackball it. Right? But we gonna keep it a buck. Right? We gonna keep it a buck. Right? The problem is that they can say what they want to say to us because we've been conditioned to say that's okay. We've been conditioned to say that. They could be as inaccurate with our history as possible because what I said earlier was the way they shoot the information to the world, it's like our history starts with slavery. Our history predates that to a large degree.
Of course.
But you don't hear about that point.
You don't hear about it in America now.
You don't hear about it nowhere. I've been all around this world. I'm telling you what I know as
Well, then
factual.
that's your experience now. I've been all around this world too.
I know what I'm saying
And I
is
hear
factual.
And
I'm
I
saying-
hear it differently. You know, I
No.
think America don't want to talk about it because America did it to us.
Okay, we got another. Go ahead, Greer. Hey, Chantel, don't go anywhere. Hold on. Go ahead, Greer.
As it relates to your earlier point, as in terms of white folk versus us visiting a plantation, for them it could either be entertainment.
She said it. She said it.
And
It's for capitalism.
Credit.
No, capitalism.
Credit.
Don't say
Go ahead.
entertainment. Say
Listen,
capitalism.
This is
Jay.
deep. Yep.
Entertainment and education, and for us, it's neither. Period. That's why you won't see us in the line, because you can't educate me about something that I've come from. And it's not entertaining to me. The reason that I don't watch slave movies, or
Exactly.
that's not entertaining to me.
Exactly.
That's hurtful to me. And so what hurts me could be easily entertaining to them.
It's
And
entertaining
we have-
why?
Right. Well, it's
Because
entertaining
capitalism.
Because there's no emotional attachment
No, because
to
it's
it.
capitalism though. They make so much money off of it.
They make money off it because there's no emotional
There's no-
attachment
so-
to it.
so-
It doesn't mean anything.
So when a brother like
they don't
me-
feel anything.
so when a brother like
You're
me-
asking them to feel something they can't.
You're absolutely correct. So the brother like me tell the truth, and they say, Jay, you're angry. That's not angry. That's pain.
Right. And
That's
I
totally two
don't
different
call you
emotions.
angry. I call you aggressive. I'm out.
He's very aggressive. He's very aggressive. He is an aggressive black gentleman. that is absolutely.
See, this is why I'm racist. This is why I'm racist.
Aggressive. B-E, aggressive. Chantel, where's Chantel? Chantel, come here. Chantel, come to the microphone. Listen, I just want to thank Chantel for allowing us to come to her restaurant. I've known Chantel for a long time. I knew her before she broke the record and got into the Guinness Book of World
I think
Records.
Chantel would have punched us in the face if we ain't coming.
Yeah, she
She would've punched us in the
she
face
was
if we
not
ain't
feeling
coming,
it.
Dealt with you.
Chantel, tell people about the restaurant. How did you start the restaurant? When did you open up, and what's going on?
Let's say 10 years ago, I opened up. I was down here.
Can you grab the mic? Because I know you want to sound sexy.
My big
Too cool
mouth.
for school.
So I moved back to Florida from New York after I got a divorce, 20 years, 9 children. So then I got that first child support check. I retired.
That's a lot of damn money.
Gosh almighty.
9 children. I was
Hey,
like,
black men, we need
Damn,
to do
I
better.
get all this.
Black men, we need to do better because we need a retirement check over that too.
hey, you got to birth them 9 children though too. So,
Wow.
hey, it was his. He wanted a divorce, no problem. So as I came down here and started doing karaoke, I realized Sanford or Central Florida didn't have a late night, small business owned restaurant. So I opened up Chantel's in 2013, opened from 9 p.m. to 4 p.m. for the first year. First 11 months, we profited, I think, a little bit over $200,000. And then I opened up in the daytime and lost money. So I've been around on this Sanford Avenue, which used to be the Black Business District.
Tell them about the history, please.
And
I have to ask you that.
this exact building, we're the last of the Mohicans, so to speak. This building has been in my family, my husband's family, since 1958, when this all was the Black Business District. And I will say we're going through a little hell right now because with the gentrification, they don't want us here. You know, so I endure things like $100 fines for having chairs outside, yet the same chairs are next door
And about
and
the
across
tent.
the street. So some things I deal with, just like back in the day that Black business owners dealt with, because we were influencers about where the election should go. So the first person they hanged was the Black business owner.
Okay.
You know, so still dealing with some of it, but you know, the devil form up, he can't prosper, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, but I'm here. I'm a mother of 16 children. I've
Gosh,
burned this
oh
food
my.
enough times to get it right. So, so come by. And show
Okay,
your
could you put the
support.
mic down and go get me some chicken? Get your boy some
Chantel,
chicken, man. I want
you ain't
some
got no
chicken.
banana pudding. I came in for the banana
listen.
pudding. I'm just
Listen,
saying.
You want some banana pudding?
I want some
banana
fried
pudding.
chicken. Can you make
I
my
want some
spicy?
banana pudding.
Are you gonna eat the fried chicken on the camera?
Absolutely.
I'm gonna get you
All right,
fried
thank
chicken.
you so
now.
much.
Coming up right now?
Right now, I'm gonna get some
Did
watermelon
anybody
too.
have
right
the
now.
fried green tomatoes?
Right now. Hey, Chantel, did you cook the fried chicken?
Listen, man.
Come on, man.
Whether
Don't
I
do
cook
that.
it or
Hey,
cook
listen,
in here,
I'm racist.
it's gonna fit.
I'm racist.
He wants Chantel fried chicken,
I
okay?
want Chantel fried chicken.
Santana cooking.
Thank you so much, everybody. Again, thank you so much for joining us. Look, I want to spend the next few minutes of this conversation. Jay, thank you, man. Of course, Jay is
D'Amica, hit D'Amica.
Jay is new to the show. D'Amica's in her 12th or 13th year. How many years you been getting in trouble with me?
I don't know, since 2010?
Yeah, we've been fired a few times.
No. She said just you.
Yes.
She said she was.
Yeah,
I was
D'Amica
not a
leave.
part of the
She didn't
crew
get the pink
when you were
slip.
getting fired.
They just asked us to leave. But I just want people to understand. Listen. This to me, this is not. I do this because I just think the level of information that we're getting is not the level in which we should get, right? And I want to take this midterm election cycle and just tell people when you go home tonight, you're going to wait a long time tonight. You're going to wait longer than normal to see the numbers come in. There's a reason why you're going to wait longer than normal to see the numbers come in tonight. It's not because the races are tight. It's because in the midterm cycle, things go a little differently. And there's a wonderful article I just read the other day about how many black people are exiting a certain party. I'm not going to have that show. You can join me Friday, 12 noon on my other show, The Don Miller Show, to understand that conversation. But it's very important that we understand the only vote, the only currency we have is our vote. And until we start to leverage our vote, like many of the cultures have leveraged their vote, the Latino community are voting over 50% non-Democrat now. I'm not telling you how to vote or who to vote for. I am just saying the power that we have that they cannot take away is our vote. All this vote, because it's the last vote you're going to ever have, is all nonsense. We're going to be able to vote. There's nothing on the ballot to take our vote away. Cut the dumb shit. Stop being fooled. But you got to vote the right way. You got to
Be
take
an
a moment.
informed
You got to be an
voter.
informed
We need to
voter.
start being judicial with our
uninformed
votes.
Voters
right.
just
Start being judicial
We
with
got
our
to
votes.
think about how we're going to vote, man. And the problem is we run out here and we vote. You know, I've been watching. I'm going to say this. I don't give a shit. Who care? I've been watching this whole
give a
Val
shit.
Demings conversation, right? Val Demings for real? You know, I am so tired of hearing black politicians say, my mama was a housekeeper. Okay, shit happens. Okay? What does that have to do, and how does that make me, Todd, think that just because your mama was a housekeeper,
fuck you keep
you're going to
screaming
do the
out
right
Todd?
thing by me, right? Because
I'm trying
Todd,
to figure out why you keep asking.
because
Todd
he's
for
looking
his
right in my
opinion.
face. He's staring the hell
Oh,
at me
he's
right
staring
now.
at you. He
He's
make you
making me
uncomfortable?
nervous.
He
Okay,
make you uncomfortable.
I can't see Creer.
I can see that
Okay,
point.
I can't say. I
I can see
can't
that.
see Creer. Timmy in the corner. Okay, your boy D. Wash in the corner, man. I don't
That's
know
not
where the
my boy,
hell
that's your
Delvin.
boy.
Delvin in the backyard. He done hid. Okay, so all these brothers who know I'm a
Every
call. Oh, that
person-
Delvin is over there, man.
Every person you
The
reference is dark skin. I'm just saying.
You finna
I'm
put my
just saying.
business in the
I'm
street.
racist.
You don't put my business in the street. All right, you like to put my business in the street, D'Amica.
What?
D'Amica,
What?
why do I have a problem with light-skinned people? I'll let you tell the story.
Brown skin people.
What happened to me in 5th grade?
You got your ass whipped.
Was
We
it
know.
Melvin Robinson?
Melvin Robinson.
He
When
violated
I
you.
was in 5th grade,
Violated you.
D'Amica, we've been on the radio a long time. When I was in 5th grade, D-Wash, you know this story, man. When I was in 5th grade, I liked this girl named Janice, right? And
was
my
nice
grandma
little lady, yeah.
told me, get that girl off the porch. Why did
What
grandma
was-
tell me
what
get
was
her
it-
off the porch?
what was it called?
She had a what? A white
liver?
She had a white liver.
Oh yeah. I remember that.
She said, get that
story.
girl off that porch. She got a white liver. I
remember that
And
story.
I told her, you can't be on my porch. My grandma don't like you. So she got off the porch, and I said, Grandma, what's a white liver? She said, you're going to learn one day.
gonna
What's the
learn
motto of
today.
this show? Listen,
Drinking and
laugh,
judging.
learn. Okay,
Drinking and
right.
judging.
I said, because you drank too much. So I put off the porch. I never understood what a white liver was, right? And so at the end of the school year, I did her homework the whole year. Her name was Janice Johnson. Oh, damn, I wasn't supposed to say her name. Her name was Janice,
You said
right?
the name on your radio show. What are you
Her name was
talking
Janice,
about?
right? So I did her homework.
All the time.
I did her
Not the
homework for the
first.
whole year, right? At the end of the school year, I say, Janice, would you be my girlfriend? What did she say, D'Amica?
I don't remember.
I like who? Melvin Robinson.
Oh, Melvin
He was
Robinson.
light skinned. He had pretty hair. Okay? So since 5th grade, I done had an issue with light skinned people. Until
So you
Quentin Jean
racist.
Johnson.
So you racist.
You hold grudges.
So you racist.
No, I just
Say you
so,
racist.
so
You
the
hold
point I
grudges.
make
you
is
don't know how to
this.
let things go.
Sometimes the point I make, sometimes we gotta let things go. That's the point, right? So I know in 5th grade I did this woman's homework.
White liver means highly sexually.
Yeah, that we know.
Hi.
Jay
Yeah,
knows.
sure.
I knew what it meant.
What's a white
but
liver?
D'Amica
Todd.
cut it
Todd,
out.
you know what a white liver is. Well, tell them the definition.
Highly sexually
Yo, you trying to
charged
get Todd in
female. Highly sexually.
Okay?
She mannish. You don't know your grandma used to say mannish. His grandmama came up with fat, mannish, fast. Chicago, they say white liver.
No, Chicago, they say how fast ass.
So the point I make is this, right? We all have things we had to fight against. I had to fight against the light skin aspect of my situation, okay? And finally, the Lord took me out of the darkness into the light, but not the light skin. Amen.
Hey, listen, I don't care what
Turn to
you
your
talking
neighbor
about.
and say, I ain't going there. Okay, go
My
ahead.
brother X in the building. Only other person here from the Northeast Corridor. I appreciate you so you understand what I go through. You understand my pain. He's the only person. You don't count you from Toronto.
He was rich
That
Latino.
don't count.
He was rich Latino.
That don't.
He was-
nah,
yeah, somebody-
nah, I'm not gonna put that on his jacket. That's not true. that not, I don't care nothing about that. I'm happy to be here. I'm glad for the sunshine.
So
Listen.
thank you so much. This show, the Don Miller Show, Drinking and Judging, or whatever you call it, Listen, Laugh, and Learn. We've been doing this
Whatever
for a
you
very
call
long
it.
time. We want to just say thanks for Chantel for having us come over. Who all had the food? How was the food, everybody? Can we get a round of applause for the food? Ed ate 19 sandwiches. They just told me from the kitchen that Ed ate 19 sandwiches. He liked to tell the story.
They ran out of sandwiches.
Okay. He liked to tell the story. He's an offensive tackle at Bethune-Cookman University. Okay, is it the Tigers? Go Wildcat. I know I'm messing with him. I know.
Hey, that's my
I
man
know, wow.
TH. That's my man TH in the building. My man TH
Who is
in the
TH?
building. Hey, TH in the building.
Who is TH?
Hey, TH in the
What's
building.
TH?
I ain't gonna do that to him. I can't repeat that.
Oh, but he ate 19 sandwiches. The young lady in the kitchen came over to me saying, Mr. Miller, he ate 19 sandwiches. Let's go to the microphone. The Latino brother. Pick the microphone up, sir. It ain't, yeah, go ahead.
All right. I
Hey,
just
put
wanna
him
let
on
you
the
know,
spot. I want people to
when
see
you
him.
left yesterday with that situation last night. Don was there when I told Bob, I said,
We ain't saying no names.
it don't matter. It don't matter. You gotta put my name.
You know my motto.
Listen.
Okay, right.
It's not about
You
that.
guys
Until we
know we
educate,
online. There's people
until we
online don't
educate
know
and
who
we let
Bob
people
is.
know.
Hold on, wait.
I told them, I
Yes,
said,
go ahead.
You look at everybody at this table, and you, like you said, we've been conditioned
Absolutely.
to be separate, or they have us that way. But until we realize that we have more in common than we have differences,
Absolutely.
we're never going to be, equal at the table.
Right.
When in reality, we all fighting for the same thing.
Absolutely. Man, hey, I like you, dog. I never know you were smart like that. But if he dies,
He dies.
he dies,
You
right?
already know my
The
motto.
point is, we're talking about a conversation last night. It messed my whole night up. I was
No,
on.
time out, Doc. You influenced that conversation.
No, I'm an influencer. That's what I do. If you understand, that's what I do, right? I influenced it.
Yes, facts.
I just
I
wanted
had
to
to go
make.
home and pass out.
I want to say some things. I just need my friends. Look, there's nothing greater. My billboard up the street, that was up the street for many years, said, what did it say? Remember?
You don't grow if you don't know.
You don't grow if you don't know. I had a billboard right up the street on the busiest highway in Seminole County that says, if you don't know, you don't grow, right? And I think if we don't drive knowledge, if we don't hold people accountable for real, Delvin, if we don't hold people accountable, Matt, Olivia, if we don't hold people accountable, Phil, for joining the conversation without knowledge. See, you ever heard of those lawyers? There's some lawyers in this room, right? There's a thing that you could get pulled over by the police and you might not go home. You can get a driving.
While black.
No. Yeah,
Oh,
that
okay.
too.
I'm just
okay. Which you can have your license suspended, but you can get a driving without knowledge of your license being suspended, right, counselor? Okay? They might let you go, right? Ignorance without even trying to get better, you can't get a pass on that.
There's
So
no
if you
excuse for the
sit
ignorance
your
of the
ass
law.
at the table and you come on, what I say? What do they call me? What's my name? What did
Ignorance
comedian
killer.
Type Mike and all those comedians, Cedric the Entertainer, what do they call me?
Ignorance killer.
Don Miller, the
The
ignorance
ignorance
killer. And I'm not smarter than nobody else. But I just want to kind of read a little more, right? We are out here in these streets, sitting at tables with people. We don't know who at this table, Jay. And you can't
I
sit
don't
at
know
this
none of these
table.
people. I don't know none of
Jay,
these people
we talking
out
about
here.
last night, Jay. I'm just so glad. There was a song my grandma used to sing. I'm so glad that Jesus lifted me.
Yo, you know every church song.
I'm so
on the
glad that
planet,
Jesus
boy.
lifted me.
You are
Because
Surprising, right?
last night,
You know
no,
every single church
no,
song.
X, right? X. Jesus lifted him last night. Because I was like, this is not going to end good, man.
Yo, Don know the remixes to the church songs. He know. He know the remix.
Hold on, wait. Hold on, wait. It's a lot of people can laugh in here. Todd, Precious, don't do that. Because I ain't the only backslider in here, okay? I'm telling you what I know. Todd, I ain't the only backslider, Quetta Jean Johnson from the Ashley.
Hey.
I ain't the only
Ash don't know
backslider
that.
in here, right?
Ash don't know that. They ain't teach her that.
But look, I ain't the only backslider,
She
right?
don't know that.
What my grandma say, the devil is what? Busy, okay? Huh? Is he busy? So don't do that to me. Look, I got a drinking problem. I ain't got a thinking problem, okay?
Hey, you need AA.
I need a gang of things,
need
okay?
AA.
But the point I'm making is, listen, we got to tell people when they wrong. When they sit at the table and they are skewed in their conversation or in their information, we got to be nice and say, hey, look, you know what? We got to be able to take a moment and say, on behalf of the table, you need to leave.
No,
X, am I right?
Time out.
On
Time
behalf
out.
of the table.
Hey, X, what he's omitting is that he invited people to the table. I mean, he invited Scott. He invited people to the table.
You got to have one Canadian at the table.
Right? Listen, that's reverse affirmative action. We ain't doing that. Okay. Listen.
Listen, man, again, thank you so much for joining us. Tuesday nights, man, this is great. I'm so glad y'all came, man. Shout out to everybody who came. I hope the food was good. Phil, man, what's up, baby? Thank you so much, man. I just want to thank everybody who came out in the rain. For those who follow us, subscribe and like, share the story with your friends. Tell them about the Don Miller Show with Real Rap Kane. D'Amica Page drove all the way from over there back up in there. She don't live in the area anymore, but she came. She brought her mama. Mom, where you at? She came all the way from Montgomery, Alabama, the home of absolutely nothing, to see us.
Hey, listen. Real Rap Kane.
Oh my goodness.
Real Rap with Kane on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter. Damn, thanks to Don, I got a goddamn TikTok.
And a Facebook.
Right?
Wow.
He got a TikTok. He be doing little dances and shit.
Nah, I do the middle finger dance. No, but
Hey, how can they follow you over there?
Herschel Walker just came up a little bit.
Huh?
he closed the gap.
He closed the gap.
Hey, can I just tell y'all something?
Don't be
Hey,
surprised
wait.
if
That number
Herschel
was
Walker win.
drastically
Hold on,
different
wait.
earlier.
Be surprised.
Hey, I
if
want to
Herschel
shout.
Walker
Look,
win.
listen. I want to shout out my man, one of my favorite people, man. Former. He's a lawyer. He's a good lawyer. Tim McClain.
You said prosecutor?
No, he was no. You got no.
Prosecutor?
No, he was PD. He's a PD first.
He's a public defender.
He's a PD.
You said prosecutor
No,
though.
but I can tell you what, he's a PD. But more people went to jail when he's a PD than now that he's a criminal defense attorney. I'm just messing
he
with
wouldn't
Tim.
defend me, so I can't.
Hey,
even rock
Timmy,
with
man.
Tim. He said he wouldn't defend
But
me.
Timmy told us Herschel Walker. What'd you say, Timmy? Timmy told us Herschel Walker was gonna win. Shout out to D. Wash over there, who don't never say or take a
Timmy, I
opinion
said the
on the
same
damn
thing.
thing. D. Wash don't take an opinion on the damn thing. He just nodded his head like, yeah. I'm like, what side you on now? Ain't no side. Oh, D. Wash. I'm D. Wash. I ain't on no side. Okay. Matty Matt, love you, boy. Matty Matt. Olivia, is Olivia still over there? Hey, Olivia, come to the microphone, man. I want them to see my niece, man. Olivia be hooking us up at a job. We got to show her some love. Come on, Liv. Come to the mic. Liv be hooking us like,
Shit, last night, Liv told me I don't come through a Sunday and Monday no more, so
Hey,
she can't
that's
look out
Liv.
for
That's
me.
my niece, Liv.
Don't ask me any questions.
We're not, but we love you. Thank you so much, Liv.
No, Liv said last night I don't come through a Sunday and Monday no more, so she can't look out for me. That's what
Oh,
she said.
man, because you could get...
Are you gonna be back though?
I guess I gotta make my rounds.
But thank you so much, everybody. Thank you again. Thank you for joining us. We're going to have another live remote in the next few weeks. I haven't told anybody, the team yet, but it's going to be in another place where we're going to drink heavily. We're going to have 2 special guests that will come in. Hey, Tim Poptek, you still here? Timmy Poptek, y'all can follow Tim Poptek. He got a boring-ass job
He
now.
feels guilty about
He's got
about
a
being with
boring-ass
Don.
job. His job is so boring. When Timmy was writing for the Times and the LA Times and the New York Times and all these magazines, he was writing this up-to-the-line conversation. Now he ain't really writing about shit, but hopefully he's going to write my book. I want Timmy to write my book. So thank you so much, everybody. How we looking for time, baby? We out of here?
There
So
it
for
is.
Jay Kane, D'Amica Page, Real Rap Kane at all platforms. D'Amica Page, that's DEMICAPAIGE on all platforms. That damn Don Miller on all
I
platforms.
don't like that motherfucker.
Thank you so much, everybody. We'll see you next week.